Welcome, 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 everyone. This is a free mastery empowerment course brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you into this vibrational gateway of plant music, feeling the higher vibrations of love. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Everybody?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
That's the music right there. You guys were not hearing that vibration of plant music. Don't you love live stream? Welcome, everyone. We are entering into our very sacred space here, a high vibrational space. This space is high vibration, and it is to anchor new earth, to create new earth. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for being here. All right, I'd like to begin now. Welcome, Lisa. How are you? Thank you for being here.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you too. We woke up with like blaring sunshine and like, oh, it's all new energies coming through. So it's actually quite beautiful. Yeah. The first day of the month always shows me what the energy of the whole month is going to be. And so last month was interesting. It went a complete opposite direction. This month is woke up. Yesterday we streamed new codes. Like we've been powerful codes coming through. And yesterday, anytime I hear a word I've never heard of, I know it's a code. And a bunch of other things. But yesterday the words were equanimity, and it just keeps playing over and over. And last night in my sleep, equanimity, and all this morning. So we're streaming massive equanimity code. And I actually have to go look it up. Like, what's equanimity? And it sounds like equal to me, but
Yes.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's the balance
Yes.
of it's like the balance in everything. It's the calm. It's the peace in the middle of everything. It's bringing everything into balance, and so that's what these codes are. So actually, phenomenal. So thank you. I'm glad to be
Oh,
here with you guys. This is I love doing this with you. So thank you.
yes. All right. We welcome everyone for being here too. Thank you so much.
I
All
do.
right. This is a time for great conscious planetary evolution. And it's an inner game. It's an inner journey. It's an inner connection. And it is a true collapse of the old. So we're not even going to go there into the old and the collapse of the old. We may, if it is required to understand a situation, but what we all, everyone who's watching this and everyone who's been following Lisa, know that we have been preparing for this moment. Lisa, I want to go back to about a year ago. About a year ago, we were already feeling the energies of 2020. And we didn't know exactly how things were going to come about, but people were preparing and feeling a call, an inner call, a clarion call of the heart. And then you even mentioned you mentioned a couple of things. You said 2020 is a game changer, and be prepared because finally light workers, people bringing this information, people sharing this information, this wisdom, this knowledge will begin to be heard by the masses. And you know what's really interesting? I'm getting chills right now as I talk about this. Even people in my own personal circles are starting to pay attention to the information and the wisdom. It can be from something as simple as like, oregano oil and washing your hands, but to something as simple as what does your inner voice say? So that's where you nailed it. You totally said that. And here we are. Isn't it beautiful? So there's an opportunity. This is not a time to sit back and wait for others. This is not a time to sit back and
Never a time to sit and wait for others.
in fact, I think we're all busier than ever. I like to say, Lisa, the now moment is more present than ever. because it's this inner call. I can share with you personally, because I know others are going through this. There were waves of fear coming up, waves of fear,
That's
and it
normal.
felt very ancestral and DNA and past lifetime. But once that fear was clear, amazing inspiration and beauty and action, downloads and go time. So
Yeah,
that's good, right?
that's amazing. Well, and that's an important, when we talk today, I don't get into specifics like what do I do about this and what do I do about that, because that's in go inside and get your answers part. We are at Earth's ascension. So the previous years were the awakening of the planet. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And all these years for every person, it's been wake up. And so what I have to do is break it down in dimensions so that we can actually see. And so not every dimension has a different reality. And so if you lump it all in together and go, well, this is happening, well, that's not always happening for everybody. It's just the people who are experiencing that dimensional experience. The dimension is an experience. It's a level of consciousness. And so when I woke up this morning, the words were, because, anytime I go in to do something like this with people or anything, I'll get to see prior to, all the things we're going to talk about and all those kind of things. And the key here is reality isn't fixed. Mentalities are fixed. Belief systems are fixed, but realities are not fixed. They change in every nanosecond. And so what we are in is a massive DNA evolution. We are in a massive consciousness evolution. We are in a massive evolution of the planet, returning to a state of higher consciousness. Everybody already exists here in a different dimension, if you will, okay? In a higher dimension. It's levels of consciousness that you have to unlock inside of yourself. And so everybody's got to go inward. Well, the tricky part of this, and when I talk about tricky, when I break it down, I refer to aspects and versions, and because this is how we see. It's a multidimensional existence. There isn't one thing. It's all of it. It's the whole shoot and shebang. It's everything all brought into it. It's a much bigger picture where you see all the pieces and parts. Everything's a part of the greater whole. It's more looking at the whole and seeing how it plays into the whole thing versus the fractaled off aspect of this is reality. No, that's just a piece. That's just a part. That's a very tiny fraction of the whole thing. Look at the much bigger picture. And so when we each evolve ourselves, you're evolving yourself back to a higher state of consciousness, which is where we all left. We're returning to our original state of consciousness, which is pure source consciousness light. And we do it through the activation of light codes, the unlocking of the codes inside of our DNA. And so to our human aspect, which is the ego to me, that's how I refer to it. We don't have a clue. I fought this process. Every human will fight this process. It's a part of our nature to fight everything that scares us, everything that we don't understand, everything that doesn't fit into the boxes, everything that challenges our reality. We fight it, we fight it, we fight it. Well, that's what causes suffering. And in every one of our processes, which is a part of the awakening process, we all have to get shaken awake. Wake up, you're asleep. And it is that literal. We actually sleep to wake up, to move into a different part of a dream. And so 3D, I break it down. 3D represents hell or a nightmare. A lot of people are waking up in a nightmare right now. But it's only a part of a much bigger process. It's only a part of the process, and it's a part of exiting. It's a part of being shaken and jolted awake to show each person that the reality they're in is not highest aligned with their highest version of realities, with the highest of everything. And it's up to them to get it aligned. It's up to them to bring it into alignment. And this is the part that the human aspect doesn't like. It doesn't like change. It doesn't want to make those hard decisions. It doesn't want to do the inner work. It doesn't want to do this stuff. Don't mess with my life. My life is fixed. I worked hard for this life. And now, oh, it's going to change. Yes, it is. And dramatically. It's not going to be a small thing. This is a big deal. This is the evolution of a whole planet. If that doesn't make a statement alone, This is the evolution of the whole planet into a back into a higher state of consciousness where we all left. We're returning to purity and love and all these amazing existences we forgot even existed. But we don't get access through them unless we open our heart. Well, on a human level, we don't open our heart because we have so much fear. We don't trust. We don't want to hear. Don't mess with my world. I like everything the same. Unfortunately, that's not how the process works. This is processes and phases, and we go through processes and phases that never end. They just accelerate and get more and more and more and more. They get more powerful. But fear, when I break it down, and I'm going to throw a bunch of things into today that will assist with understanding. And this is opening up to new understandings. New Earth is a newer version. It's like New Earth 2.0 or 3.0 or 12.0. The 12th dimension is 12.0. That's how I actually started seeing it when I came into this year. And I told you the other day, Lauren, when I write a 51-page energy report, it's a big deal. The annual report for this year was 51 pages. It took that much, and I still didn't get to put it all in there. But I'm like, if I don't stop now, I'll never get done. There is so much that's occurring on every level. This is a multidimensional experience. It's not one single dimension anymore. Our capacity and our ability to see is through love, though. It's through our hearts opening. It's through us returning to our own humanity. And that's what we all lost, was our own. We all lost humanity, our humanity. We all did. That's what 3D was everybody was asleep and they didn't care about each other. There was no connection. It was selfishness. It was greed. It was hoarding. Look at what you're watching go down now. Survival mode. What did I do with you with the December thing I put out? I was going to give you this amazing cosmic remembrance activation. I woke up and it's like, no, 2 days before it's due. No, you're going to write a whole new one. Why? Survive, transcending the survival mode level of awakening. I'm like, oh, it's like that one's more important right now. That's why I gave it to you. That's why it's up there for people, is because this is a big deal. There's a ridiculous amount of fear. There's a ridiculous amount of fear is giving our power away. Fear keeps us frozen. Fear is also a great catalyst to get us moving. And so fear represents many things. But now I'm going to say a couple things to throw it, and we can expand on these. We're not going to spend all day on this because we've done this for years. We're going to focus on New Earth realities and the opportunities that are available, because in any given moment, each person's focus, each person's openness, each person's willingness, each person's truly depth of connection and caring presents the reality they're going to experience. You're either presented with opportunities, you see the opportunities and everything, and you're taking every opportunity and you turn it into something more, or you're focused on the loop cycle of one thing, which is an addiction, which is fear-based, which is separation, and you can't break out of that mentality mode, the loop cycle that never ends. And so it's 3D is fixated. It's many things, but through the years, when we all start our own awakening process, we have all these new realizations. New Earth is new realizations and shifting your reality to the one you want to have. New Earth is coming from your highest place, your highest place is your purest place, and your purest place is love. It's kindness, it's consideration, it's truly actually caring. Not saying I care. It's actually doing whatever it takes. It's actually coming through. It's looking out for each other. It's looking at the people you used to pass on the street that don't have a place to sleep. And instead of dismissing it as acceptable, it's stopping and saying, no, this isn't acceptable. This isn't acceptable behavior. It's not okay. It's looking at what's wrong with the system. It's looking at it all and saying it is not acceptable any longer. Fear keeps you complacent. Fear keeps you in the system. What we're going through now is a massive fear clearing. It doesn't matter how it clears. It's going to be everything known to man that can occur is going to occur to get the compliance, the complacency, the acceptance of 3D as an acceptable reality. the acceptance of that. It isn't acceptable. It is not humanitarian. It is not your humanity to let those things occur. The determining factor now is are you coming from your humanity? Every time. Is this love? Do I really actually care? Am I willing to come together and work together and be the difference here? And that's where we are on a collective level. Now, those who have gone through individually, they went on. We never waited for anybody. You can open portals and do passageways and gateways and have these amazing experiences and create these whole new realities that literally are your dream. But you do it while you're in service to humanity. Your dream occurs while you're fulfilling soul. It's soul alignment. It's highest alignment. As you live your highest, everything that you quote need, I don't use need, everything to support you in fulfilling your service comes forth. It's the opposite of dull reality. It's the opposite of lack and need. It's the opposite of survival mode. It's divine connection. It's living your divinity. It's living your purity. It's living from this very pure place. It's living from this connection inside that guides you every moment of every day. That's your higher dimensional aspect of you. It is already in a reality that already exists, and it's trying to guide your human aspect and tell you, if you would just do this, it'll be easy. If you would just listen. If you'll just, but the tricky part is it's so uncomfortable in the beginning. There's so much stuff. There's so much fear. There's so much emotions. There's so much unresolved everything inside that's what every human aspect doesn't want to do. And in not wanting to do it, then the harsh realities occur to force everybody to that place. We're all going there. It doesn't matter. We all have to do this. And so the difference is that acceptance and that full surrender. I got up the other morning and things were not, I saw a bunch of things and I'm like, okay, let's just sit here for a minute. And I stopped. My phone was blowing up. People's realities collapsing. Everybody's going berserk. We're living peace and magic and amazingness. We're fulfilling service roles every day. We're accomplishing. We're not experiencing those realities. And is everybody locked in? Yeah. It's been beautiful. We just it's how you perceive things, it's how you take things. We looked at it as a huge opportunity. We have a whole month to accomplish all the projects. People are going to leave us alone. No interactions. Awesome. Go away, people. We got lots of work to do. It's been seriously, all the distractions, all the disruptions, all the things that this brings the world to a halt. The halt is 0 point. This is a collective reset for the whole planet. This is what this is what you've been hearing for years. This is what's been coming. All of us, like last year, the last few years, it wasn't just last year, but last year was all dedicated to certain things. All of us that do what we do, we knew that 2020 was going to be massive. And we all had to be to a certain place before 2020 started. That's what 2019 was getting to that place. So that when we rolled into 2020, that everybody was ready for it. And so when things start going down, you already know that they're going down. You already know all this stuff, and you're just watching it occur. It's like watching a show, though. And so you observe it, you understand it, but it's different. There are all new realities available to every person. And this is the thing that makes the difference. Not everybody is ready. All the resistance. I love how her chair disappears and comes back. So what's important for everybody to understand is that you want to embrace this. You want to embrace the new. You want to embrace the whole thing, knowing that this is what everybody came here for. This is what everybody's been waiting for. And this is an immense opportunity for every person to shift to their humanity. This is an opportunity for every person to really go deep inside and really look at themselves and see what's not highest aligned in my life. What do I need to do to make the change? And to establish, this is about deepening your connection. This whole journey, you're always going to be deepening that connection. You're going to be going deeper and deeper and deeper. Well, every time you hit a new deep place, something's going to come up. That's how it works. Every time you hit the depths, this is so we can actually function from the depths of the core of our being through pure presence. When you were talking about past lives and all that kind of stuff and everything, Loren, once you come to 0 point and live from pure presence, there's no past lives anymore. That's only the separation of time. It's only a past life because people live in the past and the future still. And so for us, if you will, it's not a past and a future like most people see. It's a new timeline. It's a higher vibration. And so what we do is you go up in vibration. And as you go up in vibration, you change timelines. But it's all from the present moment, all from this. Everything runs simultaneously. It's a materialization of realities that actually start to arrive and come forth in response to your vibration that you hold right now. But it's the overall vibration. It's your thoughts. That's why you have to govern your thoughts. It's a all I heard is, oops, it's very personal. That's why I don't look at chat. Okay, I'm making chat little. I love you guys. I see a bunch of you here, especially on my love family that I interact with on a regular basis, Star family, Light family. And I'm going to minimize my little box here. I had it up here. I was going to watch it, but it just got all sideways on me. So this is a shift in mindset. This is a shift in priorities. This is a shift in where we function from. This is a shift. 3D functions from its head, programming. Okay, and I am going to throw a couple things in there today. We can talk about it a little bit, but I want to stay focused on what's really important, which is 12D dictates everything now, not 3D. 12D is what we completed over the last many years. Last year, December, we completed the templates. So like those of us who are functioning, everybody functions from a different place. Everybody functions from the level of consciousness they function from. We can all hit spontaneously or intentionally or whatever the case, much higher states of consciousness all the time. Embodiment means you live that consciousness, so that's your whole life. And so your every experience reflects that consciousness back to you versus unconscious realities that are karmic, if you want to use that word. We use it to make a point. Karma and unconscious are all the same thing. It's just that as we reach certain levels of consciousness within ourselves, our actual reality changes to match that level of consciousness. And so, you know, some people may be functioning from 3, 4, 5. They might hit 6 or 7, but then the back end, you know, certain ones, it's because the density of the body still binds them to that dimension. And we're going to talk about the light body for a moment too. Okay, and so this is about clearing the density from the body. The body goes through a ridiculous photonic light DNA evolution. It goes through a complete recalibrating and recoding process all the time. It never stops. It just accelerates and intensifies and gets stronger and stronger. And how you function with each phase changes. Your light body, go ahead, is how you achieve all this. Your light body is your new earth vessel. Your light body is your soul, literally anchored in your physical body. But in order for your soul to anchor in your body, if you will, soul, fifth dimension and above. So now I'm going to go a little bit all over the place for a moment. Third dimension was completely asleep, didn't have a clue. We were all creating human lives based upon what we came here. Doesn't really matter, you know, kids, families, jobs, statuses, money, whole 9 yards. That's the whole human experience. Now, when you get into galactic, it's called an experiment. Same thing. Soul sees one way. Everything is quantum though. And so we don't look at things linearly. It's all energetic. And so everything is this massive, realities are this massive geometric. It's massive. And there's all these different pieces and parts. And what you do is you bring all the pieces and parts into the picture, and that's what creates the reality. It's not the thing that people fixate on. Everything is energetic first. Everything is vibrational. And what we're going to start finding with those who are just awakening to different parts of the process. Right now, we're in planetary ascension, which is because so many people are now coming through their own ascension processes on a collective level, and it shifts the consciousness of the planet. The more conscious we are, the more it shifts the consciousness of the planet, because we actually affect every person, affect. We actually affect, influence. We create change through consciousness. So the more conscious we become, the more everything changes, the more we shift everything, and the more people that we can affect, the more people that we can teach, the more people that we can explain things to, the more people that we can show. And it's being a way shower. You're showing the way to a whole new existence. It's a different version of a reality, though. We get into alternate realities and parallels and all these things because they do come into play. The thing about it is that returning to a state of consciousness that's very pure, we have to go through a lot because we didn't start out pure. None of us did. It's a purification process of our whole body, of our whole being, so that our body can actually emanate light. It actually beams from us. People see it. We glow. Got all these crystals. You break out all over when your crystals are breaking out. You can see them all. They change colors under the skin. It's a whole new existence. We are literally the new Earth humans, which is like a whole new species, if you will, because it's the DNA changes. We're not even the same species anymore. It's really important to understand that if we are not open to shifting, if we are not open to this, we're going to have a really intense, rough ride. It's going to be beyond intense. It will bring every person to their knees. And that's the point. Because when we're on our knees, our heart's open. That's not where we want everybody to go to, but that is where the ego has to go. Our ego has to be broken. It's too tough. It says, no, I don't want to listen. No, I want it my way. No, don't mess with my world. Those are the realities where we're on our knees on the floor. And believe me, I had to go there many times until I broke. And I had the one last time, which was a million times, because I was so tough. I was so strong. You couldn't budge me. Especially if you've survived everything, you're a survivor and you can't be broken. Well, guess what that means? You're going to be broken worse. So it's really identifying all these things and understanding that's not the path we have to take. But if that's the path we have to take, then that's the path we chose on a soul level. And it's really shifting how we see everything. This can be as easy as we allow it. It's not going to be easy in certain times because we have to go through so much with our physical bodies. Our physical realities, all of them have to be aligned. Every reality has to be vibrationally aligned with each person's soul. What does it say to you, Lorraine?
Well, you talked about being in the highest alignment and getting there. So you also did talk about realities being geometric, right? So when you're bringing in all the pieces and the parts,
of every dimension.
So so what does that mean? That's like seeing things from such a higher perspective, or being in the oneness, seeing how the action that we take actually affects everybody else.
Everyone and everything and your entire reality. There are certain levels of consciousness that nothing else exists. Everything is one. They're just a reflection of us. And so from that viewpoint, because what we do is we bring all these different perspectives in so that people can see. And so through our own deep interconnection, that's how we start to see. But you start to see through your feelings. And that doesn't make any logical sense. How do you feel right now? Well, I don't feel very good. Well, what's going on with you? And you sit there and you work through it. And it's like, well, I've got this problem equals program. Anytime you have a problem, you've got a program running. Everybody's been conditioned. And this is the process of breaking that conditioning down, breaking those programs down. And so it's really important to understand. And when I throw these in, what we do is we look at the dimension, and each dimension goes through certain things. And so if you want to have a different experience, you have to change dimensions. First with your consciousness, and then you got to bring your body along. Well, how you do this doesn't fit into any of the normal. You basically have to surrender your ego on every level and let completely go, and let your light body take over, and let your light body do what it needs to do. Your light body is pure source consciousness light, and it's a higher frequency than the human carbon based body was. The carbon based body evolves through crystalline and plasma, and it's intense. It took me 10 solid years to complete the process once I went full on 24 hours a day. I just completed everything. All the 12D templates, you're actually activating all these codes and templates in your body. We're the gatekeepers, we're the grid keepers. We hold the codes for humanity in our body. We hold the solutions, and we hold them. That's what embodied source consciousness is all of the answers and the solutions for everything. The tricky part is 99% of the world didn't want to hear it. Now we are at a precipice. Now we are at that place. We are at death, rebirth of entire collectives, not just the individual few that decided to go first and suffer the brunt of everything. Okay. Now we are in planetary consciousness. Now we are in the whole shooting shebang. Now we are in, everybody has to come on board. Everybody has to do this. It's the human aspect loves to think it has a choice. Not when you get into soul aligned and higher consciousness, you don't. The human aspect loves to think it can control this. Nope. That was a facade. The whole thing was. How you control this is through divine alignment, insight, and listening and honoring and coming from your highest place. You get to have an easier journey. You get to actually enjoy it. But you will have to do the inner work. You will have to do exactly like every one of us did. You got to go deeper inside and deeper inside. You got to look at what you didn't want to see, but you got to remove the judgment. The judgment will keep everybody bound to a prison inside. 3D is a prison system. Okay, I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff in here. 3D is PTSD, the whole thing. Extreme fear. 3D is being terrorized. 3D is all these things. It's a fear-based system created where everybody played the game. It's a game that everybody plays. It's not even real. It's a belief. And as our hearts start to open, we start to realize we were all just playing an unconscious game. We actually get a different reality. We actually get a different choice. We actually get to choose anything we want to. And it's through the freedom codes. It's anchored in our DNA, though. It's anchored in the body. And the way to do this is you have to unlock everything through light. And so surrendering your ego, the ego is the resistance. It is the separation. It is the duality. If there's any duality in your reality, you are not functioning from a place of oneness. Oneness is a state of consciousness, but it's also a way of living pure oneness. It's a code. It is a fifth dimensional and higher way of existing where we all work together. We all come together. We all share. There's no, this is mine, this is yours. It's all of ours. Do you want to know the difference between survival mode? The fifth dimension doesn't function from survival mode. Everything's shared. There's abundance for everybody. It's ridiculously abundant. You want to know why? Because we don't hoard. You want to know why? It's because we don't play in the I, me, mine. This is mine. This is yours. It's all for us. 3D doesn't share. 3D is just I, me, mine. This is for me. I worked hard for this. This is my information. This is my contacts. This is my money. This is my. The whole thing is a separation game. When you move to 5D with your consciousness, the thing about coming into 5D 0 point is everybody's reality gets stripped down to nothing. Do you want to know why? It's because it's a reboot. You got to start from scratch. We only get to keep what's highest aligned for everybody, and where we come from makes the difference. If we lived deeply embedded in 3D, fixated on things and statuses and identities like the majority of us did. Okay, some of us completely asleep without a clue. Some people had a clue. Okay, but it doesn't really matter, because once you get to 5D with your consciousness, once we all return to a fifth dimensional consciousness, then everybody's equal, and nobody was ahead of anybody, and that's all ego games. It doesn't matter if somebody's been doing it 35 years or 3 years, because it's all the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's where you function from right now. It's your level of purity right now. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. You can still be deeply asleep. You can do this your whole life and still be completely asleep without a clue. What determines that we're asleep is our humanity. Do I function from my humanity? Do I care? You know, I had somebody the other day that something occurred, and I was going to have to contact this person, knowing that this person comes from their ego every time. And I'm like, okay, give me a different version of the person, please. And I needed to make a phone call and say, hey, will you do this? Nope. I lived in a fixed reality. Nope. We got to do it the old way. Nope. And I'm like, wow, I know how much suffering that's going to bring. Okay. Not willing to bend, not willing to work together. Guys, we work together. We come together. Zero humanity. What does that tell you that person's going to have to go through? Now, the cool part is you can work with the consciousness, and you can work with these things. And I'm like, how about, and what I did was, I'm like, you know what? I can change this. I can change this. And I threw something else in. I said, how about this? And all of a sudden a light bulb went on. I'm like, oh. And the person goes, yeah, maybe so. Change the whole situation. You know what? The whole thing worked out perfectly. All you have to do is give it a little, all you have to do is present the opportunity and walk away and just leave it. And leave it be. Divine alignment means everything is occurring exactly as it's meant to be. If you hold your highest all the time, that's what you're calling for. The highest means coming together and working together. The highest means treating everybody with the utmost love and respect. The highest is going to challenge your ego on every level, because it doesn't want to come from that place. You know how many times I've given my money away to somebody who had less. You don't know how many times my universe, higher self at that time. Once you become the universe and a higher self, you don't have one anymore, and you're just talking to yourself all day long. I can separate off into my human. There are times that my light is small, and I'm like, I can't focus on anybody else. I can't deal with anybody else. I need to build my light back. If I do really long events, 12, 20 hours like I normally do, then I've depleted all my light, and the whole next day I stay in the bed. I rebuild my light. And then when my light is full again, then I've got more to share with people, and because your light is what supports your realities. Your light is what supports you. Your light, when people talk about what about supporting myself, your light does that. Well, if you have no light, my light is my knowledge, my light is my abundance, my light is everything. You basically have to pick and choose where you're going to put your light, because you will deplete and you won't have any. This is a completely energetic existence that runs on light, literally. Your light is your power. If you have no light, you have no power. Your light is everything. Your light body is everything. And so this is a complete shift in consciousness. This is a complete shift of your whole life, and everything, all the priorities, every priority's got to change. Right now, what's going down on the planet is shifting people's priorities, stripping the realities down. I had to learn that I had too much stuff, that I didn't need all that stuff. It didn't matter. It all had to go before I understood that stuff didn't matter. I had to learn everything. And a lot of people are going to have to go through that right now. You have to learn to share. 3D is egos and children. They don't share, they don't play well together, they don't care about each other. And so when you break in the dimension, 4D is where everybody stays until they figure it out. 4D is where the body goes through so much. And then when you get into 5D, everything changes because you're functioning as a whole soul. There's no fractaled off pieces anymore. But then everything is about anchoring the light, integrating the light. All you do is anchor and integrate light 24 hours a day. And you're accomplishing realities for humanity. Everything you do, everything you breathe is service. Everything is service to humanity. That's the only life we have. But we get to live these amazing lives in service to humanity. It's beautiful. It's pure peace, peace and tranquility, bliss and magic, not the ignorant bliss like I was writing about the other day. This is pure. But we only get to this place if we go deep inside and we dredge through all the stuff. And so it really means there's going to be a ridiculous amount of emotion. There's going to be a ridiculous amount of fear. There's going to be a ridiculous amount. If we fear the fear, then we avoid it. And this is a embrace it all, because through it, when you said, Loren, the other day, once you got through that, then inspiration and everything else, that's how it works. Eventually, pretty much all of it will go. You'll just hit little pockets. Something will come up like, oh, there's a program. You don't even care. You don't give it any energy. You don't feed anything into it. It's just clear in your body, in your field, and you just keep going and you do other things. If it needs your attention, you stop everything and you deal. If it needs your attention, then the only thing is we don't project our stuff out at anybody else. We deal with our own, we work for our own, and we get up and we project out and transmit out into the world. It is our highest every time. We deal with our own stuff inside. We don't bring that to the table. And the human reality is the opposite of that. Let's bring all the junk to the table and let's all just vomit it all up. Let's let everybody try to figure our stuff, our journey out. And that's not how it's the opposite of that. This is a go inside, sit with it, go inside and sit. Go inside, go get out. And when I mean go inside, I mean inside yourself, not. But it doesn't matter where you do this. That's the thing. It doesn't matter how you do it. Use nature. Get out in nature. Let everything go. Let it all fall away till nothing is left, so that peace can come in, so that you can find your balance and your center. And what's going to happen is when you do this, your physical body's vibration is raising again. It was too low. Every time somebody gets into their head, their vibration drops and they start pushing their body's vibration down. And so when you actually stop everything and say no, and you sit and you allow everything to open back up, your body's vibration is raising again. It's that easy. You need your body's vibration to raise. You need your body to clear all this stuff. You need your body's got to get into a higher vibration. 3D, your body's stuck in a lower vibration because you're in your head. Your heart is closed. And that's where all the suffering is. 4D is not fun. That's where everybody wakes up. 5D is ascended. That's where you live as an ascended being. That's where you experience the magic new earth. That's where you start to experience it. It's all inside at first, and then it starts to be your whole physical reality outside too. Because 5D, you're now aligning your whole life, yourself. 5D, I'm going to take that back a little bit because then I got to get into 6D and above, but I don't want to get into every dimension because it's way too tedious. As vast as 3D was, all the other dimensions are that vast, much vaster. And so it's not a small anything. But 5D is where you learn to be and do absolutely nothing in your divine connection. It's where you learn presence. It's where you learn to connect and be one. 5D, you've healed everything. You figure out you weren't broken to start with, that was a belief too, that there was nothing wrong with you. And that all we were doing was repairing all the damage to our DNA. This is DNA repair. Once your light body has repaired your DNA with your assistance and your support, This requires your participation. You're not just sitting around doing nothing. You're doing what your guidance shows you to do. It is going to challenge every aspect of the human. It challenges everything that we are because it's going to go against everything the human ego wants. Everything. It's going to push every button. It's going to require that we do things we didn't want to do. And so if we have resistance to the process, we're going to suffer. If we actually open up to a vast, immense process that's going to take years, from the moment we go full on, the minimum time is 7 to 10 years. It's a 7-year cycle for everybody. The halfway point is about 3.5 years. Then you've got an additional 3 years tacked onto that. That's what this 10-year mark was for everybody that started in 2008, 2009. 2019 was the completion for all the first, second, third waivers merged into the first wave. And now we've got a second wave. 2030 is going to be the third. And so we've got another 10-year stretch. And this is the next wave of awakening and ascension. But it's at such an accelerated rate because before we only had 3D, 4D, 5D. Now we've got 12D that dictates everything. And so it's different than it was the earlier years because the level of acceleration for the human aspect is so fast. I'm going to stop for a minute. Let's talk about time for a moment. Okay. The more you're in your head, the faster things will go. But when you actually come into pure presence inside, everything slows down and comes to a halt. Everything's slow. It's not fast. The information might be fast because when you actually come into opening up to your own higher states of consciousness, then it just starts coming at you really fast. But pure presence, there's no time. There's no time. There is no past, there is no future. There is other realities that all arrive in this moment. You can see, quote, the future, but by tuning in and connecting with all the different dimensions that are available, you can see all the opportunities. You can see everything that already exists, and then you just get up each day and you accomplish those things. It cuts out all of the lack and the confusion and all that kind of stuff. But seeing, you have to be connected. You can't see if you're disconnected. 3D is a disconnected state. Fear comes from disconnection. There's no trust. 5D is a remembrance. But it's also, when you get into 6D, it's all about service roles. And the higher you go, it's more service roles and more service roles. And the higher we go, that's one aspect of it. It's also different. It's also part of oversoul consciousness. Every time you get into 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, 10, 11, 12, they're different. They're more role fulfillment. You can handle more. You can do more. You can accomplish more. You can be more. You're all things simultaneously. You're not limited by anything anymore. You are pure source consciousness, the creator of all reality, literally. Everything you do creates, and you understand that. So you only create the things you're willing to experience here. You only participate. You only support certain things. If it is not highest aligned, it serves the ego. And those are the things that you have to look at things and decide. If you are going to go back into that, then you're going back. And when you go back, then you enter the loop cycle again of unconsciousness, and the reality is going to collapse. We don't go back into old realities that are collapsing. You create new ones through your connection. All new. The beauty of this is everything already exists. It's already been done. It can be as simple as we allow it, or it can be as complicated as we make it. Your heart, your pure heart is innocent. It's simple. It couldn't care less about what all the egos are running around talking about right now. Because you want to know what? The simple answer is your humanity. The simple answer is to stop all that and come together, work together. But the ego's going, no, 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 I can't. It's got every excuse known to man and in the book. And so those excuses are what create suffering. Okay, we'll let you run as long as you need until all the energy's gone and you break. Then when you're broken, you'll be ready for something new. And that's where we are with 3D Earth right now, 4D Earth, 5D. And the thing that people don't understand, it's not complicated. It just means you have to stop right now and come into pure presence and open your heart. That's the only thing required. And that's the thing that the ego aspect won't do. It will fight it at all costs. But we can't open it a little bit. It's all the way. All defense mechanisms. That's what the immune system is, the defense mechanism. That's why we're going through the immune system. But the thing about it is every light body has a different immune system, has a different nervous system. So you're always going through immune system and nervous system rewrites. It's a part of the process here. It's always much higher frequencies that are running through your body. They will shut you down. You won't be able to function when you're going through a tuning and an activation of new codes. Your body gets shut down, and you can't function. That doesn't fit into the human reality of, oh, let me control. I have this commitment. I have that commitment. I have to do this. I have to do that. Unfortunately, the way this works is that the higher self doesn't care what the ego self wants. And so we are all given every opportunity to open up. And every time we said, no, I don't want to hear it. No. And so when we've said no long enough and resisted long enough, then there comes that moment that it's like, okay, enough's enough. We are at that moment for humanity. Lately, I keep hearing the words for others. Are you listening yet? Do we have your attention yet? Is it important enough yet? Do you care? Because that's what this is all about. There is a version of Earth, a multidimensional new Earth we all live on now. There are 12 primary dimensions that then spawn off into infinite other ones that are available to every person right now. We get to choose. Which one are you going to live? Which one are you going to experience here? But it's called conscious choice. That's what humans call free will. You have to make that decision and you have to commit everything you got to it. Everything. This isn't I'm going to try it one time and then I'm going to go back. You can't do that. You basically have to choose which dimension of Earth are you going to experience and live. Fifth dimension and higher is unity, consciousness, and love. That's actually how we live our whole life. Everything in our life is aligned with that. Now, there's this misperception that love is weak. It ain't weak. It's power. It's different though, because universal love, because source consciousness love, because it's an innocence. It's very pure. There's no distortions in it. There's no fear. There's no nothing. So it's ridiculous amount of power because you're coming from your purest place inside. It is your strength. There's no weakness in that. Are we vulnerable in the beginning? Yes, because our hearts just burst wide open and all our stuff just came up and we're very raw. But then if we just sit with it and allow it, then everything retunes and then your heart opens more and you have a greater capacity for compassion. We have a greater capacity without compromising in any way. There's zero compromise on a soul level. And so it's a very different reality, but it's the ones that fulfill, it's soul fulfilling. You're completely fulfilled in every way. You lack for absolutely nothing at all. And so if anybody is going through challenges, then it's an ego. It's an ego thing. Every challenge is for the ego, and it is to break a reality down. It is to shift each person from their head to their heart and get your heart open all the way, open way up to accept what we didn't want to accept inside, to connect, to go wherever we didn't want to go. The resistance is the suffering. The fighting inside, the duality is the suffering. It doesn't have to be that way. So now I'm going to throw this in there just for a moment. For every person, when we expand into a new state of consciousness, a new level of consciousness, a much higher level of consciousness than we had access to before, then the first thing everybody starts doing is looking at everybody else that was doing the exact same thing that they were doing, and then starts judging everybody. Okay. One thing that's really important is that judgment, we have to transcend all judgment inside. If you are in, not you, Loren, you, the human population, okay? Judgment, you are not in compassion. Judgment is a 3D reality. Compassion is a 5D and above. Compassion and caring about each other, put the judgment to the side. You have to put your ego to the side on a lot of things in the beginning. And then what will happen is you won't have to anymore. If we are not looking at everything and understanding it, we're oblivious. If we are not looking at ourselves and identifying which dimension we're in, if we are not looking at ourselves and identifying the vibration and the energy of certain things, then we're unconscious. I look at everything. I see everything. Everything's vibrational and energetic. I can, you can hear, see, feel everything. The subconscious is visible. So every program known to man, other people can't see them, but you can see all of them. That's how we break it down. You're supposed to see. But what the human ego does is it sees and then it judges. We have to move beyond the judgment and see it. It has a purpose in seeing. The purpose is to break it down. We don't live there anymore. And so this is a complete shift of consciousness. This is a complete shift of everything, your whole life. Every life on this planet is going to change. We're not going back to the old ways. It's gone. That's the whole point. And it's going to be a dramatic continue. It's going to continue. And so this is about each person returning to their own humanity and actually stepping up to the plate. This is about each person looking at their life. Is that decision humane? Is what you're doing treating every person with the utmost love and respect? Right now, it's about our behavior. That's what started March. The words were, it's about everybody's behavior now. For how we behave, for how we treat each other. That's what makes the difference. Now, it gets tricky because when you can see everything and you can see all the programming and you can see people's habits and their go-tos, you can see their ego and you can see the higher self and you can see the soul aspect, and every person here is beautiful. We can see their soul. It's beautiful, but that's not the part that a lot of people let others see. That's the part they hide, is their light. The ego isn't the part we love. It's the one that creates the separation. It's the one that tries to pull everything back into unconsciousness, if you will. It's not a fight against the ego. It's understanding it, and then realizing that each one of us have the capability to shift that. Really easy too. It's not complicated. We just have to be conscious and in the moment and present in order to do it. And that's what presence is everything else falls away. Present in this moment. What's your reality right now? What's going on for you right now? What is your experience right now? What's going on inside of you right now? Open, honest, respectful, loving communication, being there for each other. The only thing, and I'm going to say this to make a point so people understand, when you have spent, any one of us, all of us who are doing this, every one of us have run into a whole gamut of others. When presented with the opportunity for all of this, The door was shut and said, no, we don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. And all of us have spent years presenting opportunities. All of us have spent years teaching. All of us have spent years showing people this is the way, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way. And what's happening right now is when people's realities start to collapse, like they're doing, it gets their attention. Then all of a sudden, you've got this whole barrage of people going, oh, wait, why didn't anybody tell us? Oh, wait a minute, my reality is collapsing. Now it's a priority when it wasn't before. This is a shift in priorities to actually start taking, I had to tell somebody the other day, finally, you're starting to understand. Finally, you're starting, they're going through pure hell right now because hell is where they got to go to before they open up. Why would we choose that? And so what we have is an entire collective of the planet going through their 3D version within themselves. The matrix is inside their body. It's inside. It's not out there. It's in the body. And every person has to go through breaking all that stuff down. When you break it down, 3D, 4D, 5D, all the dimensions are inside the body. A lot of people just woke up to looking out there and things are not the way that everybody thought. Well, that means go inside, find that program, dissolve that program, break that program down, open your heart and be open to something different. Open up, stop trying to hold on to the old way, stop resisting what half the planet has been saying all these years of this is coming, this is coming, this is here, this is what's going down. Yes, it is. It's real. Now, there are other realities available. So now we're going to shift to New Earth. Let's flip over. Okay.
Yes, because there is a tall order in place then, Lisa. I remember years ago, I had that dream. It just didn't make sense to me to ever see homeless or people experiencing homelessness. So my dream, it's not okay. It's not acceptable. I've been saying for a while now, this is human and all life diplomacy. And you just said that too, where it's within ourself, it's for humanity. And just feeling into that right now, it feels very archangelic, like all of us from that archangelic viewpoint aspect can actually know what to do, right? We know what to do. So
look at this. Look at
saying
this.
That, how do we do that though, Lisa? It's like we can sit here and be, that's the requirement. We sit here and be this presence, and we go inside to receive the guidance and collaborate with others and not judge it, but just begin by doing. Yeah.
If you look at that, look at those as souls that agreed to play a role to show you your humanity. Mm. Look at that as souls who agreed. If you will, you can look at it any way you want to. And that's the beauty of this is I can throw this at you and throw that at you and say, look at it this way, look at it that way. That's expansion. Look at it a bazillion ways. You're supposed to look at it every way you can so you can actually see more than the linear mind does. This is about quantum. This is a quantum existence where you see everything. You see every possibility known to man. You see it all. And then what you do is you look at it through your heart and ask, is this okay? What am I capable of doing? And you get up each day and you work to make a difference. You dedicate your life to service to humanity. Do you know what I did? My universe said, get up and go spend the day with the homeless. Talk about humility. Talk about, we actually have to care about each other. You don't just walk past them and accept that as acceptable. You become the solution. They are your reflection of what's inside of you. What does that say? They are reflecting back to people what we have allowed this whole planet to become. They're there to show us what the human population accepted. That's only one version. I
I
could throw in
know.
a million things.
It just seems so wrong and inhumane. But that's
But
the
the
call
question,
to
but here's the thing,
yeah,
we don't just walk past it and ignore it. We see
right.
it and then you decide, what are you going to do? I don't ignore people like that. I actually give them money. I actually buy them food. I've taken them to the hospital. You sit with them, you feed them. Do you go the extra mile to make a difference? Do
Yes.
you actually do the here's the thing, we actually have to go the extra mile. Human ego won't go that extra mile. As long as it doesn't touch my world, it's okay. Well, now it's going to touch everybody's world. This is how it works. We've been saying this for years. Okay. This is when you look at something and it's not okay, then you make the change in your own life. It's not on anybody else anymore. In that moment, what's appropriate? You go inside. My universe scared me to death. My universe said, you have to go do this. I'm like, what? My fear came up. But you know what? I've had the most amazing experiences connecting with what everybody else fears. I've had the most amazing experiences making a difference. I've had, you talk about soul fulfillment, you make a difference in somebody's life. And not only is it the humane thing to do, it feels amazing. Everybody's got to be willing to go that extra mile. Everybody's, for when you get into the fifth dimension and higher, everything that you have is service to humanity. Your money, your everything. Everything is service. It's not yours. It's for everybody here. That's what humans can't understand. Everything is for everybody. We have plenty if we share. Humans don't share. Abundance, scarcity, that is hoarding, that is survival mode, that is 3D. 3D is only one dimension of 12 running right now. There are abundant realities that are amazing and magical, available to every person. There is a gridding system and a networking system of people all over this planet. That's where we all come in. It's time to come together. Yesterday and yet today, the song that keeps playing over and over and over, because you get song, rise up, rise up, right? This is the rising we've all been talking about for years. This is the collective, the planetary. Rise up, be your light, stand up, take a stand, be a difference. The only thing that gets tricky here in understanding is you're not fighting against anything. You're showing the alternatives in the new ways. You're giving everybody the opportunity to join you. We don't battle 3D. We create a new way. And this is where people get tripped up on it, because they keep wanting to fix 3D. You're not going to fix 3D. 3D is completely done, gone, not aligned, not supposed to be anymore. The whole thing is going. You get to decide which reality you're going to experience. If you hang on to 3D, you're going to go with it. 3D, though, is a mentality. 3D is a consciousness. 3D is fear. 3D is Stockholm syndrome, where everybody identifies with it. You really have to look at it. The other day when I was looking at it, it's like somebody who's been living in a cave for years, and you walk up and you find this person in a cave in a imaginary prison, and there's no bars, and you reach over and you say, here, come out into the light, and the person's been in prison all these years, and their captor has said that if you walk out that door, and they believe the whole thing, and the fear is so strong they won't even walk out the door. The light is blinding, and you can see and say, come on, and you hold your hand out and say, come on out, and come out here, it's safe, it's beautiful. And the person in 3D is going, no, 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 I can't, and runs back in. That's what this is. 3D is heavy duty programming. Heavy duty programming. Loren, you've seen me. How long do I spend breaking through programming? Do you know what? I stopped doing that. I only do it with select groups. You want to know what? It's exhausting. It's exhausting to sit and break every person's programming down.
And it usually requires a little bit of anger from the person
It
who is being
requires,
broken.
but let me tell you this. It's very easy to do. When one, if you've gone through all the programming yourself and you've broken your own programming, then you understand how the programming works. And two, the programming is blatant and loud. It screams distortions. But I want to say this, part of the reason why we do this is because we love each other. We want everybody to experience the amazingness and the magic and the awesomeness of what's available by leaving the imaginary belief systems and and tap into and connect. I don't like tap into because it's like a momentary thing. Connect deeply into your sacred connection, and the imagination is actually what opens up the fifth dimension and higher. You have to be able to imagine it. You have to be able to dream it. It's literally anchoring a dream into the physical through you. You actually rebirth yourself, which is where we are with the death rebirth month. This is the rebirthing of humanity. Every year, a whole bunch more wake up. Every year, we go through this. This is the month dedicated. Now, it's not just one month, it's year round. It's just that this month is these are the codes that are the focus. It's an immense death rebirth, the phoenix energy, the Christed frequency, the resurrection frequency. Everybody is reborn, if you will. They rebirth themselves. They rise from the ashes. All of these metaphors that we use is to describe a process of remembrance. And it's where a vast amount of people remember finally, and their humanity comes through. It's where your heart bursts wide open. And all these understand, you get to see and re-experience everything. You get to re-experience your fall from consciousness. You get to re-experience the Lemurian stuff, the Atlantean stuff, all of the galactic things. We get to you actually are in an experience stuff. It's not a memory. It's full on, you're in it. Same thing for the dream state. You know, there's a lot of foggy groggy and walking around when you're anchoring the dream and clearing density with your body. The codes have been really strong lately. You know, there are many days that you can barely function, but then once you complete the integration process, you're bang on and you're doing a bunch of things. The only thing is that how our world is very different than the old ways. And so integrating light becomes a 24/7 thing. It takes precedence. Well, that doesn't make any logical sense. But if everybody wants to live New Earth as their reality, then that's what we have to do. It's because you have to integrate the codes they're activating 24 hours a day, integrate them fully and apply them to your whole life. It's not enough just to see. You actually have to do something. But what you're doing is highest aligned. What you're doing is from your purest aspect of yourself. What you're doing is aligned with universal love, with oneness codes. What you're doing is for everyone. What you're doing makes a difference from your highest place. You're not doing from the ego aspect anymore. So this means governing yourself. This means managing your energy. Pay attention to what you put your energy into. That's what you're creating. Focus your energy. What do you invest your time, your love, your energy, your money? What do you invest in? Because if it's old earth, it will collapse and you'll go with it. If you are investing in new earth realities, you are investing in a reality that is going to be abundant and grow. You're investing in it fully with your love, with your energy, with your time, with your care, and you're receiving a vibrational return. You do have to invest everything that you are and have. We don't get this if we hold out. So for every person that isn't ready, then they will experience 3D Earth until they are. And that's how this works. Until we're ready, we can't. The easiest thing to do is the hardest thing to do, which is complete surrender and open up and merge into oneness. Come into that place of complete peace and calm. Do whatever it takes to get there because you're bringing your vibration back into a higher vibration than you do. You let your body's vibration get too low. Support your physical body. It's what your light body lives in. Support, honor the immune system. The beauty is if when you look at everything that's going down, the whole thing is getting people focused on their immune system. Awesome. Because before it wasn't a priority, and now all of a sudden it's a priority. And look at people taking, doing vitamin C and orange juice and all the natural things that support the light body and the vibration, getting your sunshine. And what a lot of people don't understand is once your body achieves, and this is the tricky part, first the consciousness, then the body. So it's not enough to say I'm in 5D. Your whole body has to be in 5D. Once your body achieves the fifth dimension, you don't get sick anymore. There's no sickness. Everything, it all has to do with your DNA. It all has to do with your light body runs your body. And it repairs and it does everything. Your light body is your divine intelligence. You become your light body. There's no separation between the two. I am my light body. There's no difference in saying I am light. Your light body is your soul body. Your light body is your source consciousness body. It's all these different things. The only thing is that it's with your physical body. And your physical body has to go through a lot to hold that amount of light. It is photonic light. It's we literally emit a ridiculous amount of energy and light. We literally, our hands charge, everything, we have this ridiculous amount of energy that comes off of us. Our cells move 24 hours a day. That's how we quantum jump, is with our cells. We don't actually have to move or go anywhere. We can jump a ridiculous amount of timelines without doing anything at all, because your light body does all of that. But even when I started this, it wasn't my priority and I didn't want to do this. It didn't fit into my reality. And all of a sudden one day it's like, get yourself straight, Lisa. Get your priorities straight. Reprioritize your whole life. Well, unfortunately, I was one of those people that held out to the end. I was on death's door many times. I had to go through immense amount of suffering. And then finally, when I had nothing left, I'm like, okay, fine, I have nothing left. Now I'm willing to. That's not the path we have to go anymore. But when my universe, because at that time I was still functioning as my ego aspect, but I was open and I was listening and I was running around, but I still didn't have a clue. And the words were, your light body is your priority now. That's your number one thing. Nothing else matters. Get your vibration up, get your vibration up, get your vibration up, get your vibration up, get your surroundings aligned. Everything high vibe, your whole, everything around you has to be the highest vibration. Everything, get plants, put them in the house. Get crystals. People laugh and pick and joke. Laugh all you want. The thing about it is everything is vibrational and everything is energetic. And your vibration raises when your heart opens. And this is the cool part, is it doesn't matter what we do. For me, it's Endoros. For somebody else, is but the thing about it is when I hold an Endora, and you can see there's a bazillion people running around out there right now. You got the battle of the Endoras, and this is real and that's not real, and that's all ego stuff. Does it open your heart? Does holding an Endora make your heart just burst wide open and bring love through you to where you treat every person with more love? That's an activation of your light body. Does going out and sitting on the earth and hugging a tree just open your heart and make you feel amazing? That's an activation of your light body. It's not complicated. We just have to do it. It doesn't matter if I pick up a rock. If my heart opens, then that's an activation of my light body. That rock just became the most important thing there hit. Do you want to know why? It supports the activation of my light codes, my new earth reality. It supports me living higher dimensional earth. It supports me bringing my humanity through. It doesn't matter if it's a seashell from the beach. Somebody might look at that seashell and go, oh, it's just a seashell. And somebody else, that seashell is worth $1 million. It doesn't matter what it is. That's where humans get tripped up. It doesn't matter. It matters what it activates. It matters if it assists and supports you. Every one of them. Whoa, we just went wide open. Okay, so we've been streaming. Here we go. We're going higher in frequency. We've been streaming like diamond light codes, like ridiculous all morning. And so now we're about to go high, high, high. Gravity will shift for some people. There'll be a lot of things going on. Here's the thing to get the point across. Get out of your head about the whole thing. Get out of your head about the whole thing. How does it feel? What brings you peace? What brings you happiness? For me, in the beginning, when I was waking up, it was driving 4 hours to go to the beach. Didn't make any sense. I got to be on the beach. This is where people don't understand. It doesn't matter what you use. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters that you identify what assists you with getting your heart open. That's the activation of your soul body. That's the activation of your light body. Today it might be this. Tomorrow might be something else. In 2 minutes, I might put that down and go, okay, I'm done with that. And now I want to go do this. It's basically every moment of your day, what's supporting your heart being open all of the way. That is what is gold. It's our golden race DNA. That is what matters. That's the most, and when all of us who do this, not really, but I have to say things to make points, and I talk in extremes a lot of the time. Is when that thing, and when you get into money, we don't make money first. Money doesn't dictate where we come from. For humans, it does. For us, if this little thing in my hand, whatever it is going to help me open my heart and remember who I am and bring me into the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 12th dimension, that's worth every amount of money I got. For the human, it'll look at that thing and go, oh no, it costs too much. They just said my soul isn't worth it. I don't really want to live New Earth. I'm making this up, but kind of this is how it works. They just said money's more important to me. Something will occur to get the point across that it's not. For those of us who have finally understood, money doesn't matter. Money comes to support what we're here to be and do. We live our highest. If money needs to be spent to be in service, we spend a ridiculous amount of money to be in service to humanity. Do you want to know why? Because we're investing in humanity. Do you want to know why? Because that's what matters to us. Every person who works in service invests their time, their love, their energy, everything they've got in humanity. Our money supports humanity. Do you want to know why there's no lack in our life? It's because we share everything that we've got to make a difference here for humanity because we care. Humanity is our investment. When every person takes their money and uses it to make a difference, when every person is willing to spend their money, if you want to talk money, we can go there. I prefer not to because the human gets all caught up in the whole thing. It's never about money. It's about where we come from. Root chakra survival mode, vortex. It either sucks the life out of you or it opens up and emanates out. Living from my heart, emanating out love and soft. Our love is very soft. Our realities are very soft and they're very kind and they're very generous. We are ridiculously generous, but not to greedy humans that are saying me, 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 me. We actually will not feed that energy. It's the opposite. We will support openness. We will support, but we also understand when you can read programming, when you can see, you read the field, you read the whole quantum field, you read the light codes, everything's encoded. And so every moment, every breath, every word is encoded with an entire matrix, and you can read the whole thing. And so every action you can't hide, because every energy that comes off of you is readable through the quantum field of consciousness. When we are consciousness, we are the field. So we're in each other's field. We're reading, we are the field. We're reading the field through our own energy, through electromagnetic, through all of these things. That's also what pulls your realities to you. So when you hold your highest and you emanate it out, that's what you're pulling to you as an experience. This is not the old earth anymore. Where we are now is planetary evolution. Where we are is global reset. Where we are is, but it's a personal reset. It's occurring across the globe, but it's for each person to go deeper inwards, to look at everything, sift through it, work through it, find that connection inside, and hold that connection above all. Because that connection is what opens up everything for everybody here. It opens up all the opportunities, opens up all the possibilities. It opens up the ability to see and experience and feel the numerous energies and frequencies, and they are beyond beautiful. And that's where, once we return to full consciousness, that's where we live, is in that beautiful energy 24 hours a day. But it's us. We're the energy. We're New Earth. The experience is a vibrational response. When we hold ourselves as the New Earth light beings here, then you are emanating out. You are creating the grid work and the networking system to connect up. You're holding that. We're holding that. We emanate that out. Every person we touch, our light touches them. They feel us. Beautiful exchanges, kindness, love. Do we run into the occasional thing? Yes, we do. We just don't bring it home with us. We just don't invite that to live in our life. We just don't surround ourselves with that. But we're also not affected by it. Our vibration doesn't change. And that's the key. Embodiment means you hold it all the time, and that is you. Embodiment, you are pure source consciousness. You are consciousness with every breath. Consciousness is love. I said that to somebody recently, and they looked at me like, consciousness isn't love. Yes, it is. It's just that it's not understood as that in the beginning, because at first, when we're coming into higher consciousness, it's all knowledge and information, and doesn't appear to be like that. Sharing the ridiculous amount of information that gatekeepers and grid keepers and light keepers and all these people do, that is for humanity, to support them and assist and guide and teach. Doesn't matter what we use. Doesn't matter the words. It's the actions. You can tell the difference in the vibration and the energy when you tune in. You can feel it. Just listen to the way you feel. How does it make you feel? Now, there are going to be a lot of things that are said that the human ego isn't going to like, but we still have to say them. It's the fastest path to understanding. If we don't say them, then we have to wait till everybody figures it out. So a lot of us will actually step up and say the things that nobody wants to hear. That, forgive me here, but I gotta say, I'm gonna have to go here for a moment. It takes balls. It's bold. It's courageous. It takes a lot of ridiculous inner power and strength to stand up to a whole world that's holding on to being unconscious still. Light is not weak, it's the opposite of that. It is the strongest energy, but it's kind. It is the strongest that there is because there's no fear involved. There's no programming. There's no distortions involved. It's very pure. There's no reason to go back and play in the old anymore. There's no reason. There's no point. What's the point? When every person has the opportunity to create and build a whole new reality that looks nothing like the old, that supports humanity. Here's the thing, 12D is all humanitarians coming together and working together and contributing on every level. There's no lack involved. It's pure love. Here's the thing, it is for every person. Every person benefits. Nobody's left out. The only ones that get left out are the people who are saying, I don't want to be a part of that. They remove themselves from this. They refuse to be a part of New Earth. And that's how it works. If you refuse to be a part, then you just don't get to be a part. You don't get to enjoy the amazingness. You don't get to live the magic and the amazing realities that are available. For those who have chosen this, they do. In every moment, every day. Do we have challenges? Yeah, we do. We just work through them. No big deal. 12D is the solution. It's all the answers. It's the templates. It's all the codes. It's everything for humanity. What we've had all these years is nobody, not really when I'm talking in extremes. The mass population didn't respect or support or want to be a part of this. Now, I want to say this that is important for everybody to understand is yes, we'll say somebody doesn't want to, somebody doesn't want to, somebody doesn't want to. And that's one way to describe a process. But if you actually look at it from a technical standpoint, if you will, on a soul level and from quantum mechanics, the codes will turn on in the moment they need to turn on for that person to start to wake up. It's encoded in their DNA and it does it in timing based upon when frequencies activate. So every person is doing this exactly divinely aligned and timed for their own personal journey. That's why we have to respect every person, is they're coming through when it's their time. So while we can say, because remember, I'll go at one direction, then I'll throw another direction. While we can say somebody didn't want to and this person didn't want to listen, this doesn't, basically it wasn't their time. Now it is. Now it's time for the whole globe. Now it's time for humanity to actually come together and work together and bring the solution. There are solutions. It's not hard, but it will mean you have to leave the whole old reality behind. You can't bring old Earth into the picture and try to conform to 3D. It won't work. You have to throw 3D out with the bathwater and basically say we're starting from scratch. And this is what supports humanity, and it has nothing to do with that. It's a whole new way.
Okay, I would love to ask you a question that I'm hearing from our beautiful collective group.
Yes.
All right, we get this. I'm actually holding my beautiful crystal and my heart is wide open and I feel empowered and I can sense that others are feeling quite courageous. And again, it's love and speaking in a compassionate, loving way. So let's talk about this, Lisa. This is on the hearts and actually the minds of others. What would you say for those who, as we bridge, as we assist others, when we come into our heart and connect within so deeply, connect with the higher self? I guess we're answering the question right now. I'm going to bring this up. 5G. People are pointing at 5G in the 3D world as something so not good.
All
And
right,
if that's
and
their
I had a
call,
discussion about bringing in specific things
yes.
before we started.
Okay,
And
so
the reason,
this is old, so
hold
we
on.
won't go there.
It's not that I won't go there.
How do we bridge it? How do we
Get your
tip
vibration
it?
up.
Go in the heart, open
It,
it up.
but here's the thing.
Yes.
It's not a simple answer because we're dealing with the ego aspect that still entertains it as a reality because they still keep contributing to those realities that support that. When, yes, there is going to be a ton of things going down that are not okay. This is about the people standing up. This is about the people, but it's not in the way that a lot of people think. When you go inside and you connect, then you're going to get your answers for what's appropriate for you. There is no blanket process here anymore.
Thank
The
you.
human ego aspect wants one answer that everybody's supposed to do. That's not how
Right.
this works.
Okay.
Are there things, but here's the thing, and I want to say this about everything. Everything has infinite ways of looking at it.
Everything,
I can
money,
sit here, money,
homeless,
5G, you can throw
health.
anything at me and I can destroy the whole thing and give you 4,000 ways of looking at it and then hand it back to you and say, now what do you want to do? The reason being is that each person looks at one thing. 5G represents fear, control. It represents, look at it, what it represents.
Right. Okay.
But here's the thing, 5G, I'm going to say this, but then there are other realities that are not a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
5G is 3D. You got to look at it from a dimension instead of the individual thing. If you are looking at 3D, 3D is for each person to transcend from within. It's in your body. You got to get your vibration high enough so that you can see the alternatives. This is a multi-dimensional experience. This is not a single dimension. Okay, it's not one answer anymore. This is go inside. What does your so you threw that at me? I'm gonna throw it right back at you, Lorraine. You know how I do. So let's stop for one moment.
So thank you to the question coming in from the audience. I'm in trouble
Because this is
now.
how we
Okay.
roll.
No, go ahead. It's
But
great.
keep it simple. Let's not get caught up in, because it's really, this is what
This is
happens
important.
dealing with the addiction to 3D.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay, we're dealing with the fear based because it's such a big thing. But the thing about it is that each person has the capability to go deep inside and to connect and to raise their consciousness higher than 3D. You have to expand beyond 3D so that you can actually see. You have to open your heart to expand beyond it to see what your options are. You have to connect and consult your higher guidance and ask, what are you supposed to do? Your answer might be to move. The next person's might be that you're supposed to do this. The next person's might be go get some of this in your body. The next person's might be something completely different. Every person's going to get a different answer because their circumstances are different. But when you're talking about something, and there are many things, if we want to play, I don't play in dark and light. I don't play in the battles of it anymore. Once you've transcended your own dark inside, okay, the battle is over. And all you do is keep raising your vibration, raising it, and you end up leaving those realities completely. You don't experience those things. You won't be affected by those things, but you got to get your vibration high enough, and it's got to be your priority. It can't be a hindsight or when. Here's the thing that a lot of people that I've worked with, they wait like I did until your whole body's shot, and then you're trying to recover from 30 years of damage. And that's what 3D is going through right now, is a whole life of DNA damage. If you look at it from a place of your body's got to repair its DNA, consciousness is directly tied to your DNA. They are the same. So destroyed DNA. And what I do is tell people, you look at the big picture, you figure it out. The thing about it is to look at it. Now you have the information. What are you going to do about it? That's where everybody gets hung up, because they don't actually want to do anything. They want to stay in I want to be a victim to the whole thing instead of actually taking an action, because that's the bolder move. Sometimes you will be told to pull completely away, let it go. Other times you will be shown that you actually have to do certain things. But the thing about it is your connection is first, and you wait and you sit with it until you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until you get your answer. And that's not everybody else's answer. 3D is a dependency system. The dependency system is going. It was created that way on purpose, though. Now, on a 3D level, we can talk about who did what to who, but when you move into soul consciousness and source consciousness, every person agreed to this. They also agreed to awaken through it and to lead it. Every person agreed to awaken to this, to see it all, and then to consciously choose a different reality. Every person did. What you will find is that the human ego doesn't like that they actually have to do something. It will always be on somebody else. This isn't on anybody else anymore. This is on each person. You are going to experience the reality you allow. Listen to my words. Realities are different dimensions. There is a way to repair your DNA yourself completely from all the damage that was done. It's through frequencies and tones. It's through natural support. It's through supporting your light body and what it needs. It's through sleeping ridiculously if you need. It's rest. There's a lot of rest involved to let your body rewire and recalibrate and recode and do all these things it needs to do. Your body will raise its vibration naturally if you will get out of the way. Our body has an intelligence. Our light body is begging for each person to listen, begging for each person. And one of the programs that we're putting out all these global consciousness programs we've been working on for years. We're finally there. I had to complete all the 12D templates last year because they're the templates for humanity. They're the New Earth templates. They're all the answers. They're how everything gets done. One is a completely new energetic commerce system that replaces the whole old one. It's a whole new system, but it takes every person. You can't take one person and say, okay, everybody, this is not a everybody conform anymore. This is everybody do your part. 3D was conformity and everybody told everybody what to do. That's not the way 5D and above is. 5D and above is everybody working together. We are literally building a new earth together. We are literally creating it. You bring it from rebirthing yourself as a higher self, but then you have to grow up and you have to learn to be responsible for yourself on an energetic level. And you have to learn to manage everything. And everything is energy here, everything. It's the energy of this and the energy of that. Money represents an energy of either greed or an energy of creating great change and making a difference and supporting everybody under a system that supports humanity. Then everything is used to support humanity. It's the opposite of the old ways. Doctors and nurses, they have no clue the light body exists, have no clue what's going on with the physical body. Nothing makes sense. We are putting out a program that re-educates to bring everybody into a higher state of consciousness to understand nothing is as anybody thinks it is. Nothing. What's going on in the physical body isn't even going to be what people think. It's light codes. It is nothing like 3D was. Nothing. This is a multidimensional body. This is a multidimensional existence. This is a multidimensional new earth. This is a multidimensional earth where new earth is an actual reality. You know how many people say to me, well, I have a real reality. Well, I have a real reality. Where do people think that 5D to 12D isn't real? It's just that it's different. It's based on love and unity. And Christed, when you bring through your Christed aspect, it is so beautiful and so pure. When you bring through your Syrian aspect, it's like get up, get it done, no BS. When you bring through your Venusian aspect, it's pure love. Your Arcturian, pure love. All these different aspects, but it's a part of oversoul consciousness. They're only one aspect of who you are, but they are a much higher aspect than your human is. Our human ego is the lowest aspect of all of us. What does that say? But that's where we all function from. The difference is 5D and above functions from a different place. You function from your heart. You function from unity consciousness. You function from oneness. The difference is the human population didn't function from that place. And so what's happening is every reality that needs to occur to bring each person into oneness and strip away the ego and break the ego down and break away all the programming. Ego is 3D, period. Okay? But 3D was also a place where everybody lived under a threat. That's what the immune system stuff is people purging all that stuff. It was mind control. It's all these things that everybody wants to ask, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? So let me make a statement. If you're presented with this is even a possibility, why would you keep going there? Why can people not accept that if there's a slight possibility that this would harm humanity, why would anybody still allow it? Why would you go there? If you're presented with something and says this might do harm to your body, you know, we laugh because you'll tell somebody start eating fresh and natural, and you know, there's this big joke that goes around. It's hilarious. It's true because I did it too. The moment you tell people start eating fresh and natural, like, oh, let me go check that out. My body, I don't know if I can eat natural and fresh, you know, because I've been eating a handful of pills that kept me unconscious all these years and destroyed my DNA. How backwards is that whole mentality? We really have to take a bold look at what we accepted and allowed as reality. And then 5D and above is saying no more. That's not reality. That's a facade. That's an old illusion. That's a distorted, that's a corrupted database. It's the operating system. The whole 3D operating system is corrupted. It's like a virus. It's like a computer system. Everything equates to different things. 4D is where everybody stays while they wake up. 5D is ascended. But once we go through our ascension process, then we keep going into higher dimensions and higher dimensions and higher dimensions. And then we complete the whole ascension process. I completed mine a long time ago. Once you function as pure source consciousness light, you're not ascending, you've ascended. But then you have a complete descension process that has to occur. And then you have all these embodiment processes. And then you have this restructuring of your whole life through highest alignment. It's an immense process. When we get into quantum jumping, when everybody comes to the fifth dimension, now it's time. So Gaia will no longer tolerate 3D. Does that say anything? Gaia, cosmically, no more. We work with Gaia's DNA. We work with Gaia's consciousness. Last month, when we got hit with all the stuff and coronavirus going around, all of us were going through our light bodies tuning and the immune system too. It was intense. but we're not sick. We're tuning. When I tuned into it, it was Gaia's lungs, literally, is what we were in the depth of last month, was the lungs of the planet. Then at the end of the month, we conclude, for those who are gatekeepers and grid keepers, mine's different than somebody else. All gatekeepers are not alike. All grid keepers are not alike. We're all very different. We all have different roles. We all do different things. My roles are my highest aligned purposes, and I do them in alignment with service to humanity. Somebody else is doing theirs a different way. We're all supposed to come together and work together and drop the separation. But others weren't ready. And so it limited everybody else because there was nobody to work with for years. Until you have an ascended planet, there's nobody to work with. Now we do. Now we have tons of people everywhere. And it's not that they weren't there. It's just that we had to reach a certain place, if you will. We can tell with the grading systems, we can tell how many people are conscious, and when a lot of people are really conscious, then it makes it easier for everybody else. If a lot of people check out and go unconscious at the same time, like holidays, the Super Bowl, tons of people went unconscious, made it really tough on the rest of us who had to hold those grids in place because people disconnect and they go unconscious. Well, it's all of us that hold the grids in place. And so in the early years when I was doing this, before the rest of the planet started coming online, we had to hold consciousness with our bodies. And it took every ounce of energy we had because there weren't that many people holding the grids with their bodies. Now we have a lot of people doing it, and it's so easy. There's so many people that are connected through the grid work, the New Earth gridding system, the crystalline grid systems. We have the plasma networking system, which is completely different. All these different dimensions, you get to see them all. You're deeply connected with everybody and everything. We work in multiple dimensions, sleep state, wake state, actual realities, all of them, because they're all the same thing. There's no difference in our sleep and wake state. We work all night in our sleep. We wake up. We have different work we do in the waking state. When you get into fifth dimension, everybody has to be brought back to what we call a null zone, 0 point. And it's a complete reset for every person's life. Everybody's got to start from scratch. That's the part the ego doesn't like. Everybody's stripped down to basically almost nothing. One, to learn to appreciate what they have. We didn't appreciate. We took everything for granted. We took our bodies for granted. We took money, we took houses, money, and all these things. Everybody placed emphasis on all these things. We took our planet for granted. We didn't love and respect it. We took the breathable air for granted. We contaminated everything. The food, contaminated, all these things. That's 3D. The whole reality is. The importance is to understand the whole 3D reality isn't aligned vibrationally, the whole thing. 40 is where everybody stays while they start to make that connection and learn to trust. Where everybody makes that connection and starts to listen. We stay there until our connection is so strong that we never disconnect ever again. 5D comes in. Functioning from that connection, functioning from the depth of the core, functioning from that place. But then our roles change. And every moment from that moment forward is service to humanity, but it's different than others perceive that it's going to be. It's not savior complex. It's not trying to save anybody. It's presenting everybody with opportunities and choice and going on and doing what we came here to do and letting everybody make the decisions whenever they're ready, whenever they come around. It doesn't really matter. They will when it's their time. And that's where we are right now, is all the people on the planet who have been doing this. We've been waiting for everybody. We're ecstatic. Yay! So many people now to come together and work together with. Many of us can unite. So many of these things, and we're all doing these things. the rest of the world just doesn't see everything that we do. Does that make sense?
Yet. All right. No,
Well,
that's beautiful. That's great. I mean, it's very exciting and it's really, I think everyone is feeling empowered. Again, it's the simplicity of going within so deeply and connecting and functioning from there. Functioning from there. That's it. That gets us into 5D solidly. All right.
5D is your consciousness, but then
The
your body's going to go
conscious.
through a lot of reconfiguration. There's a lot of things that have to occur once you achieve the consciousness, then the body and the physical reality come next.
Okay, so we are almost wrapping up here, but I want to give you that moment to talk a little bit about you. You said that 12D dictates it. So that's a whole nother conversation.
12D
The
is a, okay,
12D.
but let me say this: 12D is a redistribution, and 12D kicked in several years ago.
Hmm.
Okay, we completed it all with Gaia and cosmically, if you will. Okay, those of us, every person is fulfilling whatever their current role is. Mine was to achieve 12D fully and anchor all the templates and codes for everything and hold them and provide the knowledge and the information and support and work with those who are ready, who actually care. That's my role. Somebody else's role is something else. Um, every person will return to 12D. That's our original state of consciousness. That's the highest that we can currently achieve here in the physical. But then when I finish 12D, it's like now we're going beyond 12D. So we do go beyond 12D. And there are other levels of consciousness that are way beyond 12D. 12D is the most that we can actually physically experience as realities right now. But I know you want to finish up, Lauren, but I want to say this, it's really important.
Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot.
Well, we were talking like 12D and just
12D is the divine, is a divine sacred template. It's all, it's the, it's, I don't like getting really linear, but I do this to make a point. One, when you hit 5D and start moving up, all the linear goes. There's no linear anymore. It's, I call it quantum linear. It is because it's an entire massive gridding system and all these geometrics and its quantum equations and it's quantum mechanics and it's everything is quantum at that point. And what happens is every reality isn't linear anymore. It's this whole vast thing. And so it's constantly moving. Every reality is moving pieces and parts. They move and breathe 24 hours a day. Every reality moves and breathes constantly. It doesn't become, we live in a unified field of consciousness. We are the unified field of consciousness. When we live from a unified state, we are the unified field of consciousness. We are this cohesive field that it's interactive and it breathes and it moves and it's alive and it's beautiful and it's this magnificent experience. It's like those clouds in your picture back there. Okay. 12D are the divine templates. It gets into the 144. So we have 144 templates that came through with the whole thing. All right, now we're getting hit in the vocal cords again. Here we go. That was a big one for March because the planet is about to move into being very vocal. Once we get, we've moving up. We did a lot of all the lungs area and stuff. And when you look at planetary consciousness, we're going to be moving into once we go through the death, rebirth, and the resurrection, and all this month all dedicated. Part of the reason why the whole planet has to come to a halt is for people to go inside. Part of the reason, when I say part, it's just one of many things. Okay. The third dimension has a reality. The fourth dimension has a reality. The fifth dimension has a reality. All the way up to the 12th dimension has a reality. So if you ask me what the reason for this is, I got to go to that dimension because the reasons are different. Third dimension, that reason is hidden agendas and imprisonment of the people and all that kind of stuff. Fifth dimension is moving into sovereignty and everybody working through their own 3D inside. And then what happens is when you move into a much higher dimension within yourself and you bring your body with you, then you actually get to live that experience of that dimension as your own reality. So everything's vibrationally aligned. 12D are the divine templates. They're very sacred, they're very pure, and they are humanitarian templates where everything is completely vibrationally and divinely aligned. Everything is in divine flow. Everything's occurring exactly as it needs to be. Everything, and it's effortless. It's very easy. When you live from your highest place, it's easy. So that's what's being offered to every person now, is that if you choose to live from your highest and surrender to your highest aspect, you're surrendering to yourself. You're surrendering to the highest and most divine, beautiful aspect of yourself that's begging to align your reality and bring it in easier. But the ego aspect has so much to work through. There's a lot of stuff to work through on an ego level because the ego is 3D. So what you're doing is you're breaking down and dissolving the ego inside, which dissolves 3D. All the dimensions are inside. So the deeper you go, the more expanded you can become. One thing that's important to say is we don't ground. You anchor light and you float and you fly and you expand and you're in all these other dimensions. And what happens is where you live from changes. We live from the vastness of infinite everything, and the physical is a vibrational alignment and occurs in response to those realities. The vastness is the real reality. And the physical becomes a vibrational response to that. And so, in order to be able to expand beyond the third dimension, your heart has to be wide open. You have to surrender completely and let completely go and let your energy completely expand into infinite everything. You'll be flying, you'll be in the stars, you'll be inside Gaia, you'll be in Lemuria, Atlantis will appear, you'll have all these amazing, weird, bizarre things that start. It gets very plasmic. It's very stimulating. It's very intimate and deeply sacred experience. It's very personal. That's why nobody can do this for you. It's your own personal journey. Nobody can tell you how to do this. Any of us can do is activate the codes. All any of us can do, those of us who hold the codes can activate the codes. It's really easy because we live them. All we have to do is talk. It's not complicated. All we have to do is come together. All we have to do is be in each other's field. We don't actually have to do anything but be wide open. But then what we do is different. It's really about openness on every level. It's really about observing all the time. It's understanding that you have a higher self. I'm saying this to the ego aspect that's always watching your human aspect, your ego, waiting to see if you're going to hold the highest, waiting to see if you're going to come through, waiting to see what you choose to do. And that choice and what you do automatically activates a vibrational response, which is what humans call reality. Every moment's a test for the human. What are you going to do? And what you do, what you decide, basically transmits out coordinates that tells your physical body which dimension to anchor into. And so that experience you're having is relative to the dimension your physical body is in. Every choice, every energy, every thought, every action transmits out coordinates and codes that tell the quantum field how to respond and what to deliver to you and every person on this planet as an actual experience. If you're transmitting out fear in 3D codes and tones, that's what you're receiving back to experience. I'm breaking it down in a different way. If you are holding your highest, no matter what the physical world says, no matter what that says, you hold your highest, you hold it, you're transmitting out those codes and those tones. You're transmitting out that vibration, that frequency, and that's telling the quantum field what reality to give as a vibrational return. You have to hold it with your everything, though. You can't go back. If you go back, you re-enter an unconscious dimension. You re-enter the lower realms. You go back to sleep. You re-experience the fall from consciousness. It doesn't matter which words we use, it doesn't matter. The key is when we close our hearts, once you've reached the fifth dimension, your heart doesn't close anymore. Your heart's open all the time. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's your whole body and your whole being and your whole presence, and you are this pure love. You do emanate pure light all the time, but you're also very powerful, and you're saying, no more, not my reality, no more. This is not acceptable behavior. No more. No, this is not reality anymore. You will see light keepers. You will see bridge keepers. You will see those who embody source consciousness putting their foot down and saying, no more. 3D is not acceptable as a reality, period. Ego aspects keep trying to make it so, keep trying to hold on, keep trying to recreate unconscious realities out of fear. We don't. It's important to understand that whether you live from your deeply connected soul connection and your pure light, or whether your heart is closed and you're in your head and you're holding on with all your might, that's going to dictate, that's the split. Everybody going, there's a split, there's a split. Yes, there's a split. There's been a split. It's always been a split. The only difference is until somebody gets to that place inside of themselves, they don't know there's a split and that they were on the third dimensional side of the split before. There's a split between 3D and 5D. There's a split. They are opposite realities. 3D and 5D are opposites. What 3D does, 5D is doing the opposite. They are polar. That's the polarity. That's your duality. 4D is where you feel like you got one foot in each world and you don't know which direction to go. Do I listen to my heart and trust without any proof in the way, or do I get back in my head and live from fear? The decision dictates the experience. The choice dictates the experience. The consciousness dictates the experience. 3D is a level of consciousness. 4D is a level of consciousness. 5D is a level of consciousness. 12D is a level of consciousness. They're just levels of consciousness that where you function from dictates your reality. Where you function from dictates your experiences. Where you function from returns a vibrational response. 5D, there is no lack. There is no scarcity. There is no selfishness. There is none of the stuff that 3D has. They're not even in the same ballpark. They can't coexist. But 5D can see 3D and 4D, but 3D can't see 5D, 6D, 7D, except when you go to sleep and you expand and you have a dream, or if you're daydreaming and you can expand and your heart opens, you can go, oh, that would be beautiful. That would be wonderful. But then the ego comes in and says, oh, but no, and then and you drop back down. The beauty of this is it literally is living a dream. It literally is anchoring a dream. But what we go through in order for that to occur doesn't fit into any boxes. I have written thousands and thousands of articles. Every one of them, when I say light encoded, they are geometrically in tune, vibrationally with source codes. They are written specifically, every word, on purpose. Some of them to trigger on purpose, because that's the point. We got to get that stuff up. The thing about it is any ego that reads my articles gets upset. No ego likes what I say. We don't care. The thing about it is that when you start to understand the importance of what we're all doing here, when every person starts to understand the importance of all of this, not only the importance, the awesomeness of it all. This is the liberation of a whole planet from eons and eons and eons and eons of stuff. This is what every person has worked for, and we are here. The tricky part is everybody's either got to be on board, or only those who are doing this are going to have those experiences, and the rest of the world is going to have a very different experience. You have an entire 12D is a humanitarian template with every person is a humanitarian and lives from that humanity inside. It is where every person is fulfilling their highest level roles here all the time. It's where every person can come together. It's where every reality can be shifted. Reality is a perception. All you do is shift your perception and the whole reality changes. But humans are fixed. They're holding on to this is reality. This is reality. This isn't reality. This is a lie. This is an illusion. This is a figment of our imagination. This is whatever. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. Does your heart sing? And are you so completely fulfilled that you lack for nothing at all? That's 5D and above. Do you live and work in unity consciousness? Do you come together with every person? Do you treat yourself and every person with the utmost care and respect? Do you remind them in every moment how loved and beautiful they are through your presence? It's not words. Do they know they're loved? Do they know they matter? People in my world, they do. 5D and above, everybody matters. 5D and above, everybody has a role. 5D and above, we work in unity. We come together, we share, we support each other. There's not 1 ounce of lack involved. It is the utmost beauty. And it's just so completely simple. It's not complicated. Your heart, your soul isn't complicated. And what's going on right now is souls need to come through. The human aspect doesn't get to run the reality anymore. And it's going to do it by simplifying the reality and removing all the distractions and all the focuses of this is more important, that's more important, are going to be shifted to get people's attention to say that's not important anymore. It never was. That's not your priority anymore. So how this works, if people actually want to know, the answers are simple. It is not complicated, but we all have to want to know. We all have to be open. We all have to, it's all new information compared to the old ways. It's going to challenge everything everybody believes. But it is the answers and it is the solutions and it is not complicated, but it won't conform to 3D. It's going to be so, it will obliterate 3D. Hey, unmute yourself. But it's important to understand.
I'm just going, yay. All of us here are just going, yay, yay. And so it's just beautiful to be in our heart and to create from there. We get that, Lisa. We get that. Where we function from returns a vibrational response. And so if we really truly take that to heart, live from there, and begin to notice that 3D side of it, it'll be gone. So I can see that many of us are like looking at ourselves and going, whoa, I think I'm in 4D a little bit. But
Well,
this
and
is where
I get a
more
lot
time
of
than the
people.
day, right? More time in the day instead of,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of a bridge to 5D. It's like
It
as
is a
much
bridge.
as we can be there.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. And
Yes.
it's the rainbow bridge. It's where you end up on the other side when you cross the rainbow bridge. That's where the rainbow bridge comes in. And so there's so much to this process. It's not an overnight process. You know, I saw somebody write something yesterday. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. That this is true. You got to pace yourself. And the biggest thing is to get our heart open to where we stop fighting the process. To get our heart open so we're actually willing to listen and embrace all new. It's all new. That's what, look at the word new earth. It's all new. And so it does take every person. Otherwise, you have the people, you have those who agreed to come first, and the forerunners and the pioneers, and whatever words you want to use. Yes, we all did do this, but we're all over the planet. It's not for lack of having access, because access is inside. It's from our own resistance and refusal to open up. And that's where that's where the realities are going to be harsh. That creates the harshness. And with where we are right now, there are minimally 12 dimensions available. What dictates the reality every person gets is going to be what they're open to, what they accept, what they're willing to be a part of. You have to be a part of this. Every person is an integral part of this. Every person is important. Everybody has roles to fulfill. It takes every one of us. The only thing is that we don't have to do it alone anymore. You got a whole planet of people that we all just have to join together. We don't have to do it alone anymore. We did. You got to do the inner work. That's the part that you do have to do. The only thing is what it's doing is you're breaking down and dissolving all of the barriers and the resistance and the obstacles. Here we go again. We're getting hammered. But this is about opening up without the need to know. We don't need to know. You already know inside. Find that place inside where you know above all. Find that place inside of you where peace comes flooding through you, where you are so calm. Find that place inside where you let everything fall away. Say to yourself, I don't care anymore. I'm letting it all go. I don't care. You have to get to the point where you don't care about anything. Let it all go. Your vibration will shift. Your body will be able to vibrate at a higher rate. And what will happen is the moment you do, your heart opens all the way and you care from this beautiful place. It's not a lack caring or a need to fix anymore. It's you truly actually care from this soft and beautiful place. And where you care from is different. You're not trying to fix. You're not trying to force. You're not trying to do anything. Now you care on a humanitarian level. Now you care on a soul level. Now you will provide and open portals and doorways, and you'll show opportunities. And now you create the opportunity. We create opportunity, the ridiculous opportunities. 5D and above is infinite opportunities, infinite possibilities. Everything is possible. The human ego will say it's not. That's not true. It's a lie we told ourselves. So it's basically getting really, 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 really real and opening up, go inside, find that place, do whatever it takes. And then every moment of every day, until that's where you live from, that's the priority. Find that place. If you have to get up every morning and go sit on the grass, find that place of peace inside. Get up and do your day from that place. That's a vibration. Get up and do your day. Make sure that you're in that unified state before you do anything. In the early days, I didn't go into any situation until I was at that place of peace where I couldn't be pushed off my center, where I couldn't be rattled. And not because I had walls of protection up, which that's fear. We don't protect ourselves. Our light takes care of all of that. Your light emanates out, and it actually recodes your reality for you as you walk. It's so cool. Your light emanates out, and it changes the vibration of everything as you walk. It actually tells the whole field. So when I go out, fully expanded, go here, beautiful exchanges, because my light's telling my field. My light's telling reality what exchanges to deliver to me. Every one of them beautiful. If it's not, it's just a moment. It's just to show me what still exists. It's just to show me that there are still people that don't live from that place, because otherwise we would never know. Seriously. If I don't get up and go look to see what's going on, I would have no clue, because it never occurs. This is a completely different ballgame. That connection is the only thing that matters. Your entire reality is relative to that. New earth comes through you, from inside of you, through accessing and opening up different dimensions and then choosing the one you're willing to live. That's where your free will is. You got to choose. Humans say, I can't. Then you just chose. Accepting the old ways is a choice. And that's where a lot of people got, is because part of higher consciousness is saying no more, but then in your life doing what's highest aligned. Nobody can tell you what that is. That's why I won't give people individual answers. I'll take them inside to find their answers, but I let them all get their own answers. They have their own higher self. I don't take on the responsibility of any other person. I show them how to get their own answers. And it's really easy. Everybody's life is simplified. It's very easy, but we all have to go inward for that. And if we don't want to go inward, if we keep wanting to play in 3D, then 3D is what we get. Humans play in 3D all day long because you want to know what the alternative is, taking responsibility and doing the hard thing and saying no more. We're past those stages. The vibration of the planet is 5D minimally now. That's what everybody's watching, is 3D and 4D all collapsing. Collapse, 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 collapse. The acceleration. Do you want to know what's funny is our realities are so slow and so quiet and so peaceful. 3D used to be, when you get into fifth dimension, everything gets really fast and there's a lot going on, and all the way up to the 12th dimension. Now every time I look up and go look out in La La Land, I call it La La Land, to see what everybody else is doing. It's funny that we used to call this La La Land and now it's flipped. Collapse, 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 catastrophe, collapse. That's how fast it is in 3D now. Everything just imploding upon itself, just everything just collapsing. What people want to understand is a collapse is also a convergence. That means that new realities are available. The moment it collapses, the collapse is actually caused by a convergence of new realities trying to come through. The new realities are trying to come forth and anchor in, but the human aspect says, no, I don't want to listen to any of those. I'd rather have the one that's collapsing. Let me hold on to that. And that's where all the suffering comes in. Whereas convergence and collapse are the same thing. For me, I can watch them all collapse holographically, but they don't actually occur in my reality. And then reality, just new realities come forth. You don't actually suffer a collapse anymore, because we actually live in a morphogenic field. We actually live in holographic realities. We get to see every dimension as it occurs, but it doesn't actually, it's not an actual experience. It's a holographic one, if that makes any sense. I know in a weird, bizarre way it does. You live multidimensionally with all these different realities, and they're all simultaneous and they're all going at the same time. All of our realities, that's why we're so busy, is because we're doing 40,000 realities all the time. We have all these realities that are all co-joined. And if the vibration changes at any moment, all the realities shift and change. And so you kind of have to stay on top of everything. It's a ridiculous amount of consciousness and energy to maintain all these realities. What a lot of people don't understand is all of your realities are through your consciousness. We can manage infinite realities through our consciousness because we can see them all. And so everything is through our consciousness. All right, you're muted, so unmute.
No, it's beautiful. I feel that many who are listening to this are already feeling the 12D humanitarian templates, the divine templates. So I actually am feeling really empowered, inspired, and I know others are feeling uplifted from this, because it's the interconnection, and
That's
we got this. We know it. It feels right. So this has just
yay.
been really, really wonderful. I
Well,
really hope everyone's
remember,
feeling
remember,
that sovereignty, that we know within ourselves that we step up and do things without being asked. And so it really is beautiful, and it really has uplifted from the 3D perspective. That's totally toast. So bye
that's
bye
beautiful.
3D. Bye bye. Bye
But
bye.
here's the thing. Let it
Yeah.
go and dissolve on its own. You choose when you anchor your consciousness in a higher timeline, you're calling that one forth here. So when you can actually anchor your consciousness in any dimension. It's really cool. When you anchor your consciousness, let's say I anchor let's say I'm in 4D and I'm being faced with some fear. And believe me, I had to go through this. I lived in being faced every day with fear or trust, fear or trust, fear or trust. It's intense. Once I finally trusted and listened enough, then all of a sudden I didn't fear anymore. It's not that the higher realms can't be trusted, it's that you don't trust yourself not to go back. And so what you're doing is you're creating a new way, a new neural pathway, and a new neural networking system within your body, where when you forge a new way or forge a new path or create a new way, your body actually creates a new neural networking system. And so when you choose trust over fear, you break 3D down a little bit more, and you break it down a little bit more, but it's not out there, it's inside. 3D's inside, 4D's inside, 5D's inside, 12D's inside. They're all inside, encoded in your DNA, in your body, in your body. Your light body activates it. The beauty of this is all anybody has to do is completely surrender and say, activate whatever codes you want to do. All you have to do, activate this, activate that, activate this, and just be ready and embrace. It's not going to look like anybody thought it was. You might have to go down and sleep for 3 days or a week. You might have to go spend some money on things. In the beginning, it cost me all my money to get my body and my health back, because I had run my body completely in the ground, and I had renal failure, I had congestive heart failure, I had every failure known to man. I carried so much fear and so much separation. I was completely asleep. It cost me every penny I had to get my body back. But you know what? I had to devote myself to it and be so driven. I wasn't going to go back anymore. And that's what this takes. You've got to be so driven, you're not willing to go back anymore. You have to be it's got to be so important that you refuse to accept the old. We don't accept the old as reality anymore because we don't have to. Nobody has to. And so it's really important to understand that if you anchor your consciousness in a higher dimension, in a higher timeline, in another frequency, whatever you want to call it, you go imagine, a lot of the stuff I do is visionary stuff with the New Earth visionaries and all these things. We do all of the template work, and we do all the codes. And that's the beautiful thing, is we can do all of this through templates and codes and all this fun stuff. It's so much fun. When we open completely up to something all new and we embrace it with everything that we've got, it comes forth faster. Because we've given permission and said, okay, I'm ready. We're the ones that said, I'm not ready, and our resistance and our fear pushed it away. We're the ones. And so all we have to do is say, okay, I'm ready. And allow yourself, make vision boards. Go envision your new earth reality. What's it look like to you? Can we play for a minute, Loren? I want to know, when you see new earth, what does that mean to you? Pay attention to the feelings. What's it feel like?
New Earth is, I'm going to cry because it feels so good. I've been envisioning New Earth for a while, and it's harmony, and I've actually seen like everyone living really authentically. And that's quite hilarious.
No, it's not. No,
Um,
don't discount. Here's the important part.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's funny because it's just it's beautiful. I mean, it's
Now,
creative.
good. Now I want to say this to you. Harmony, peace, love. It's creative. It's living just such joy.
Yes.
It's simple. It's not complicated. So here's the key. They're called key codes. Anytime we give you a key, it's a key code to unlock the codes that each person holds inside. It's really easy. Here's the key. You have to tune into that energy and that feeling, and you have to carry that now throughout your day. That harmony, the way you achieve new earth is to be new earth. What was the frequency of new earth when you just tuned into it? Now,
Yes.
here's the thing that everybody has to understand. You get to experience new earth when you live new earth fully from inside. When you tune into new earth, and it says, it's amazing, it's magical, and you'll see the color and the vibrancy and the peace and the bliss and the magic, then that's what you got to hold. You got to hold it. You got to hold that frequency. It's a frequency, and you got to experience it as you hold it. You have to become your new earth version. So let me break it down into dimensions for a moment. New earth is fifth dimension and above. You have to become the fifth dimension with your whole being. So when you tune into that vision, when you tune into that energy, the key is you have to hold that. That's the hardest part for the human because they can't hold it. That becomes your priority. You hold that no matter what. No matter what, because when you don't, you're letting go of your new earth reality.
Everyone's holding it. We're holding it. We're holding it.
And come together,
Yes.
unite, and dissolve the egos.
Yes.
They don't have a place. There's no point. This is something brilliant and amazing. And the beauty is that every one of us hold the codes. And when we come together, we activate them more. And you activate more and you activate more. This can be the most beautiful experience if each person would allow it. And for those who do, it is. So the
We're
question
allowing.
then becomes, who's ready?
We're
Who's
ready.
ready?
We're allowing. Oh my gosh.
Bring your humanity through.
Yes.
Seriously, when you see
Yes.
that person on the street, then you stop and you figure out what am I supposed to do? When you see an injustice, it's on you now. When you see something that's not okay, it's on you. This is we the people. We're the people of the planet. This is the restoration. 12D, and I didn't get to say this before, and it's important. 12D is a redistribution template. It's tons of templates. It's not just one. If I want to simplify it, but not really, I'm going to say because there was at one point I was writing down 144 templates because it's the 144 that we all hold. There's 144 templates that apply to every aspect of our life, and it's all the codes and the sequences of all the templates. And that's what I spent all last year doing, was completing all of that. 12D is a redistribution. It brings balance and restoration to the planet. So when I finished in December and January rolled in, it's like, this is the year of cosmic alignment. This is the year. Everything's being aligned. It's a vibrational alignment. It's bringing everything into consciousness. Everything has to. We don't get to say no to this part. So now the question becomes, does each person embrace it fully and surrender their own ego and go inside and see what they've got going on, and then do whatever it takes to unite and come together and share? You use your resources, you use everything you have for this. In 3D, we had a physical reality. In 3D, we had stuff. In 3D, the only difference is 5D, everything that we have supports humanity. Everything that we have has a higher purpose. We still have realities, we still have stuff. As long as there is a money system, which is fastly going, which is the reason we're bringing through the new templates, which is an energetic commerce system, which replaces, but it's a hybrid system. It's a transition system of moving everybody over with greater ease. But the thing about it is that everybody's got to be willing to do this and implement this because it takes everybody. This system replaces the old system. It is the 5D to 12D system. It's a 12D. It's the solution.
We're waiting for that, Lisa.
I know
We're
we're
waiting
working
for
on it. We've
that.
been working on it. But
Stay
what I'm
tuned,
saying
everyone.
is that it takes everybody's openness, willingness, readiness, and their dedication because we're all building all new realities. But it's through our relationships with ourselves and each other. It's through divine partnerships and union. 12D is a partnership template. We're all partners here. Everybody plays a role. Everybody fulfills their end, upholds their end of things. We enter in as partnerships. It's equal. 12D redistributes everything on the planet. It takes it away from everywhere that it was that was distorted and it redistributes it in different ways. This is not a human control thing. This is source consciousness and soul alignment now. Those prevail. So it's important to understand everything has changed. 2020 was the clear vision. We're moving into a new 10-year period. That's really important. We have a lot of people. This is ascended Earth. Up through 2019 was wake up calls. Now what you have though is you've got those who are still in wake up calls because 3D who anybody is still functioning from a 3D level of consciousness will always be going through wake up calls now. It's always going to be harsher and harsher and rougher. 3D is the whole wake up call. 4D is where everybody goes in order to wake up, see it all, be mind blown, be devastated, clear all that programming out, and then choose 5D and above new earth realities and start to live from that deep sacred honor and integrity and care and respect for each other and themselves. And so our relationships with each other matter, but we can't have the depth of the relationships that are really pure if we can't do that within ourselves. So inside first. Inside dictates everything. Once you achieve it within yourself, then you can receive a vibrational match to that. Once you achieve it within yourself, once you hold that consciousness in every aspect of your life. A lot of people separate their business out. A lot of people separate this part of their life out or their friends or this. It's all a part of the whole. There is no separation. It's not this isn't a part and that. They're all a part. Everything in your life has to be highest aligned. And so business isn't business. It's family, it's star family, it's soul family. It's different. It's from a much higher level of purity than 3D was. Everything serves humanity. Everything supports humanity. And the 12D template supports all the people. It takes every person into account. But the way it works is the opposite and completely different than the old way. So, I love you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we are really feeling good. We are feeling good. Let's dance, everyone, because I feel great and I know you're feeling great too. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
You are really a beautiful leader. And we just thank you so much for this wisdom.
Well, you know me, Lorraine. I say leaders without leaders.
Yes.
New Earth is leaders without leaders.
Leaders without leaders. So
New Earth is we're all leaders. We're all way showers. It's joining together. And so now it's yes, we are the leaders.
Yes.
When you view it from a human perspective, we're the leaders, but when you view it from a higher perspective, we're all in it together. We're all here to lead the way. We're all here to be the light. We're all here to hold this and not go back and don't play in the old anymore. No more. If that's the rule you live by, is no more, then you have to check yourself every day. You have to hold yourself accountable. And you know me, Lorraine, I hold every person accountable for their energy. I hold every person accountable for the level of consciousness they function from, because there's no excuse anymore for going back and playing in 3D. There isn't. Now everything is available, everything is possible. Each person just has to choose. Now what you have is the rift that people are experiencing, and the separation. What they're doing is seeing. Now finally they can see what unconsciousness looks like, because they couldn't see before. Now each person is starting to see, wow, look at everybody that's holding on. Wow, not realizing that 10 minutes ago that was them. So now what we have is the moment each person, and one thing that's really important, I know I keep throwing stuff in, but it's really important to understand. Higher consciousness is 24/7. It's not a let me do it for an hour and the other 23 hours let me be unconscious. Higher consciousness is 24/7. In addition to that, that's really important to understand, is that it's also always new realizations, new revelations, new awarenesses, new in every moment. There's so much new information that the old takes a back seat. So be open up and say, I want to know, I want to see, bring me the new awareness. This is the key. You go. Start owning it and claiming it and being and saying, I'm ready to know. I'm ready to keep my heart open all the day. This is the game change for every person, is the moment that every person is truly ready and embracing it. Those of us who here, I got a girl with me. She's like, man, we had to laugh the other day because it's like boot camp here with me. And we call it Ascension Boot Camp because it's like boom, boom, boom. You don't get a break. And then it's like, okay, take a break. Take 3-4 days. Just, let everything go. Nobody cares. You don't get a break. Consciousness doesn't take a break. The difference is, because you are that conscious, it's actually very easy because you're not complicating things. You're not getting distracted. You're not playing in the old stuff. You're not bringing it into your world. You're not compromising on a soul level anymore. And so your life is very simple. We have a very uncomplicated life. I had somebody email me recently, I'm sorry it's so complicated. I'm like, it's not complicated. There's not one ounce of complication in my world. Nothing. So it's really a completely different everything. This is be open for everything all new. Everything. New Earth is all new. Let go of the need to know. You don't need to know. You already know. It's inside. Go inside where you know. Sometimes that is all you will have. Is that the other morning when I woke up and things were all swirly, my phone was blowing up, this was going on. I'm like, okay, stop. And I just stopped and I closed my eyes. I put my head under the pillow for an hour. I'm like, everybody go away. and I stayed there. And I didn't move, and I didn't try to answer any emails, and didn't try to deal with anybody else, and I didn't try to worry about anybody. And I just sat there until I came right back into that place of calm and center, until everything slowed down to a halt, until I hit that moment that everything was perfect. And then I went, okay, now everything aligned. And then I got up and I went and did my day, and I did it slow, and I did it how I knew. Within 1 hour, everything aligned. The whole thing worked itself. I didn't have to do anything, but just come to that place. There were things that I'm like, you know what? A minute ago, I might have responded to those. Now I'm not going to. It's not appropriate anymore. The moment dictates what's appropriate. Every moment is a different vibration. Shift your vibration, the reality changes. Shift your energy, everything changes. Shift constantly. You're shifting into a different frequency. Tune your consciousness to a whole different reality and say, this is my reality. That one, not my reality anymore. But here's the key: if you give in, you get the old one again. If you're not completely done, then you're going to do it all over again until you're done. I have a saying: you're not done till you're done. I get done instantly, right then. If it's not aligned, I don't get upset. I don't bring emotion into it. Do I have to express myself? Sometimes, but I'm always coming from my highest and most loving place when I do. I always respect everybody else, and I don't project my stuff onto them. The thing about it is that the moment I identify something's not highest aligned, I'm done right then. It's not personal, just over it. Done. New reality.
Mm.
Nope, not okay. Nope. If you'll notice that the not okay and no, it's just this nonchalant thing. It's just the way it is. It is not personal. Nobody's at fault. It's just an emphatic no. I just will not accept that as a reality. And that's what higher consciousness does, if you will. That's what each person does as pure source consciousness, is you determine what you're willing to accept. You say no more, but you don't go back. I don't go back ever. I don't replay the loop cycles. I identify them the moment they start to play, and I go, nope, not reality. Shift. This is my reality. I get up and I go to those realities. Those are the ones that I get to experience. It can be that easy if each person will allow it. But it does mean grabbing all your energy. Be very responsible for your energy and what you put your focus on, because what you invest, your time, love, energy, money, they're all the same thing. Everything's the same thing here. There's no difference. Time, if you're focused on money, time is money. You waste your time, you waste your energy, you just lost money. So that's simple. If you're not focused on money, if you're focused on something else and you want a certain reality, if you lose focus and you don't put your love and your energy into it, you don't get that reality. It's that simple. Here, you are very conscious and aware. It's super consciousness. It's not just consciousness. Consciousness is fifth dimension. You move into super consciousness when you start moving into the higher dimensions, much higher than that. It's quantum consciousness on every level, and you have to learn how to live a quantum life. You have to learn how to live this way. It's learning everything all over again. There's not 1 ounce of linear in my life. So it's more being ready to completely shift. Your heart, your pure heart, is quantum. Your head is linear. When you get in your head and you go linear, you actually drop your body's vibration back into the third dimension. When you close your eyes and you tune inside and you go inside and you say, no, I'm not going to live from my head anymore. And you open your heart all the way, and the bliss and the magic and the fuzzies and the tingling start, and your body's raising its vibration, and you're happy again. Your body just went back to the fifth dimension. That's how easy it can be, but you have to live from that place. Heart wide open all the time, deeply connected. Your body has to maintain that vibration all the time. The moment your heart closes, you can feel it, and you get back in your head, your body drops back down into the third dimension again. And you actually have to experience the third dimension until you get your body out of it again. Fifth dimension and higher, there's no sickness anymore. Fifth dimension and higher, there's no lack. There's full abundance on every level, because where you live from is different. Everything is abundance to us. Breath is abundant. It's an entire shift of consciousness to a whole new way of living and existing. It's complete appreciation for absolutely everything. It's living from complete humility, from complete humbleness on every level, every moment of every day. It means being kind every time. It means going the extra mile every time. It means stepping up to the plate to be the one who's going to come through. And when you put a bunch of people together who live that way, That's what makes the difference here. And that's where we are. That's good enough to finish on.
That's where we are, people.
I love
Happy
you.
anchoring, happy attuning to the frequencies of your consciousness within. Oh my gosh, you have left us and put us in a really great spot, Lisa.
There you go.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. And I want to thank everyone for being here. You got this. We ready. We are ready. All right, everyone.
Have a
Thank you
whole
so
family out there.
much. Yes.
Have a whole star family, light family, soul
If
family, all over the planet.
Yay! If Lisa or I could be of assistance to you in networking, please reach out to us. We look forward to, gosh, doing this together. We're all in it. And oh my gosh, Lisa, I have a huge smile on my face. My heart is wide open. Everyone's heart is wide open. The world has changed. We're already getting, I've got goosebumps again. I'm already seeing and feeling the solutions. It's
Well,
beautiful.
here's the thing. Don't get distracted and go play in the old ways. And there's a ton of resources out there that you can use, like my activation. What it doesn't matter what you use. Read my writings. If you don't resonate with me and you love somebody else, go play their stuff all day long. Anything that opens your heart more. This is really key because a lot of people are like, well, what about this and what about that? Really, really, really important. If you can't tell the difference between 3D and 5D, if your heart closes and you go to fear, if you have doubt of whether you can trust, it's a different type of trust. Your ego won't trust at all. So it's not that what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that you pick, if this constricts you, I heard somebody say not too long ago, freedom isn't free. And I'm sitting here going, what? How how does somebody even make that comment? The freedom codes give each person the ability to return to soul consciousness and higher consciousness where you're free inside, and then you start taking the measures in your life to implement that and apply everything so that you live that freedom fully. These codes give you the capability, but you have to apply them. If you need anything to support your heart expansion and opening up to surrender and getting your vibration high again and feeling and surrender. Somebody wrote me recently, said, I can't listen to you but like an hour and a half. That knocks them out. That's good. Go back later. I've told people this for years. Surround yourself with everything highest, 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 highest. I've got free activations. I've got thousands of everything. I've got everything. Use mine, use somebody else. It doesn't really matter. Your determining factor, does it open your heart and bring through the bliss and the magic and the joy and the freedom and the amazing everything that uplifts and inspires you? Or does it make you feel worthless and little and in a prison and contracted and constricted and in fear? That's going to tell you a lot right there. If that brings fear in you, now the higher realms, when you're in your ego, will bring in fear. And that's a different type because it's the fear of the unknown and it's the fear of something new. You want to go there. That's the opposite type of what I'm talking about. But if you're looking at something where you have to make a decision, the thing that's highest aligned, normally there's no proof, there's no sure footing. It makes you take a risk. You have to step out on the ledge. You have to do something without any proof first. It's going to excite you and scare you at the same time. It would be awesome if that's going to be where that's what we all have to do is go, I'm scared to death, but you know what? I'm going for it because I know. That's a different thing. But if one makes you feel small and belittled and like less and unworthy and in fear and survival mode, that's 3D. And the first part of this process is learning to tell the difference and then choosing the one. All of the time you choose so that when something happens that isn't the highest, you're capable of looking at it and going, you can use that discernment, or you can use that observation, or you can use that awareness and say, no, this isn't higher Selene. No. And what will happen, and this is key, is that if you say no enough, you are aligning your reality. You're aligning it. You're aligning it. It takes a lot of energy to get it aligned. But once you get it aligned, then all you got to do is keep it aligned. And it's not a lot of energy. The big 4D is getting it aligned, getting it aligned, getting it aligned, getting it aligned. And so this is where you master the physical reality. You align everything yourself. The physical, 3D has a physical, 4D has a physical. Every reality has a physical. You're aligning your physical to a higher dimension. It's different than the old ways. There is a physical reality in every dimension. You're still going to have a job. You're still going to work. The only thing, you're going to do something that you absolutely love and supports humanity and brings you joy. For me, I would have never chosen any of this. I had to be forced. I love this above all. It is my soul. It is my passion. I love making a difference. I love touching hearts of people. I love seeing people's hearts open. You love it so much, but none of us would have chosen this. It's the path we wouldn't have chosen. So every time I had to step into my fear, every time I had to jump off the cliff, every time I had to take that big risk, your rewards are bigger when you jump. That's quantum jumping. And so what I will say that most people don't understand is when you come in, when you're nearing 5D and everything's collapsing, your reality's getting really small, your life's being simplified for you. You don't need as much stuff. You don't need as much, all that kind of stuff goes. And what happens is what you do have matters. What you do have, and you actually are going to rebuild a whole life that's highest aligned. And when you start rebuilding, then everything comes to support that. So everything comes as highest aligned. So everything you do is highest aligned. So that your whole life is aligned and it's easy and it's simple. Quantum jumping means that in that 7-year to 10-year period, you're going to have a whole new life in a very short time. So there's a lot that gets done. That's why, Loren, there's so much work and there's so much fast and there's so much stuff going on. It's because we're jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. Even 3D is jumping. They just don't understand that they're jumping, but they're holding on instead of letting go. And so when you're experiencing a quantum jump and a new reality needs to come forth and somebody's in their ego and their human aspect, then what will happen is they're holding on to the old and they're getting drugged through it with it. So it's about letting go and opening up to embrace all new that's ready to come forth. And so somebody said I was unable to download the Transcendence survival mode through the Dropbox. Yes, go to my page with the Cosmic Decree under the free and gifted stuff. I put it up the other day. There's a thing about our, I don't know, Cosmic New Earth Decree. Go find that. And at the bottom of that page, that whole page is activation, specifically to exiting 3D, specifically to clearing your Akash, specifically to doing these things, and transcending the survival mode level of awakening is on there in 2 forms. I think you can listen to it and download it too. If there's a problem with that link, then it's a different link. Then somebody email me and let me know and I'll get it fixed. But yes, it's up. Those things are free for everybody. There's tons of information out there. You guys use the tools. Get the tools, use them. You have to flood your consciousness with everything 5D and above. You have to surround yourself with everything 5D and above. Just like 3D, everybody was immersed in it. You have to be immersed in 5D and above. Immerse yourself in everything highest, highest, highest. And if you're not sure, then find something that you are. I will say a lot of people, they'll read my stuff and go, well, I don't really like what you write, Lisa, because I'm triggering. That's the whole point. So when it's light encoded, it's going to go straight to those ego programs. A lot of people have arguments on my post. They're all arguing with each other. That's not what this is for. We're speaking to every dimension. So yes, I speak about the ego. because we are re-educating humanity to a whole new level of consciousness. We are bringing humanity into a higher state of consciousness. We are doing this together. This is to support humanity's transition back into the highest state. This is the evolution of humanity returning to the highest state of consciousness. New Earth, the 222 codes, those are higher consciousness humanity codes. Those are source codes. Every code that we bring through is. So if everybody looks at this as a way to open completely up to all new and flood your consciousness with everything that supports your highest, your highest, your highest, then look at your reality and see what's not highest aligned. And then that's on you. That's what your job is. Align it yourself. That's your sovereignty. That's your master aspect. That's your ascended, your Christed and your God self and all these different aspects. This is what you embody is your highest aspects of you. That reality is your creation. You get to recreate it completely. You get to transmute it. You get to transform it. You get to turn it into anything you want. This is the beauty of creator consciousness is you look at every reality and realize that you have the capability to shift it into anything. It doesn't matter anymore. It's beautiful. So I know I'm done again.
Absolutely beautiful. We simulcast on our other platform as well, and that got blown up. So that's on New Earth. So anyway, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, and thank you everyone for being here. We are doing this and we honor you and thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, guys. Utilize every opportunity this brings.
Yes.
Every opportunity. We're watching communities come together, working together. This is it.
This is
what we're
it.
all here for.
This is it.
I mean,
all right. Happy creating, New Earth creators. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.